And
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. Shake it, but get pointing out all the lies. Putting the scripture right in your eye. The Bible guy. He reads Hebrew and Greek and shows you that your book's not unique. The Bible guy. He turns through the pages. Yeah.
what the
Shake
hell?
it, but get pointing out all the lies. Putting the scripture.
Oh, sorry, my guys. Let's try that again. There was a little bit of a problem there.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Shake it, but get pointing out all the lies. Putting the scripture right in your eye. The Bible guy. He reads Hebrew and Greek and shows you that your book's not unique. The Bible guy. He turns through the pages until every Christian rages. The Bible guy. Watch one time and you're hooked. Now let's watch why the Christians get cooked. The Bible guy.
All right, everyone, make sure you're tapping that screen, sharing the live with those you love, with those you hate, with your friends, with your enemies. Let's get the word out there and see if we can get some interesting conversations today. We're coming at you live from Northeast Texas. And yeah, I forgot that I had another window open while I was playing the song, so it played it double. Yeah, okay, so how's everyone doing? Let me see all those beautiful faces. Make sure you're tapping that screen like Jonathan wanted to tap King David. Share the live, like it, send some super chats, and we'll read those out loud. But if you are a Christian and you think you have a good reason for why I should believe in the Bible, request up. Let's have that conversation. I have been reading the Bible for decades at this point, and I'm not convinced of the claims of the Bible. But if you think you have a good reason, I'd love to hear it. And just so you know, personal testimony is not a good reason. I want to hear something definitive. Something that that I can check to see is true. Independently verify is the word I'm looking for. So I guess I'll go ahead and read our first super chat for the day. From, let's take a look, at Helpin' MAGA Deconstruct, with the $2 saying, "What is the harpy serving Christians up in tonight?" A Korean barbecue, I think, is what I'm gonna go for. I'm gonna cook some Christians Korean barbecue style. Open chat request. Yep, I mean the chat request is open. Anyone can ask up. I had a crazy dream last night, guys. I had a dream that I was in Alaska at a diner, having breakfast, and Santa Claus was there, and he was asked the server for a cup of hot water, and he was enjoying it until an ICE agent came in, and Santa Claus turned around and splashed him in the face with the hot water. It's not up for us. Jeremy Cathcart is saying that the live request is not up. Can I get a confirmation? Oh, Aaron? I mean, my friend Aaron's up here, so clearly it's working. Yeah, there it goes.
Works.
It's working. Real quick, Aaron, before you head out, I just gonna fix my screen thing here so that all the YouTube peoples can see all of y'all's beautiful faces whenever, or pictures whenever y'all come up. So 1 second.
Fine. Use me as a guinea pig.
That's what I like to hear. All right. There we go. Oh, fantastic. Got that all situated. All right. Thank you for that, Aaron. You're free to go.
Cool. Have a great stream.
You too. Thanks, bud. All right. Jeremy, you were just in the request box, so I know you're here, bud. If you're a Christian and you have a reason for me to believe in the Bible, or a Jewish person, you have a reason for me to believe in the Bible, because we don't discriminate here. Whether or not you're Christian or Jewish, if you think you have a good reason for me to believe in the Bible, come on up and let's have that conversation. Until I get a guess, I guess I'll read some more super chats. From at Declan James with the $2. How old were you when you started reading the Bible? Excellent question. I was 14 years old when I started taking seriously the reading of the Bible. I just got out of my first ever relationship. I'd broken up with her. I was very distraught, and I turned to the Bible and started like reading the Bible seriously. So I guess it's been about 15 years, I guess, since then. So we're gonna bring up our first guest for the night, Ezra Coffee. Ezra, I'm going to ask you the same 4 questions I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
No, sorry. I did not realize that was a requirement.
Oh, yep. Got to be 18 years old, buddy. Sorry about that. Come back when you're legal. All right. Yeah, so I was 14 years old when I started reading the Bible, and I took it very seriously. So much to the fact that when my pastor would say things in church that I just didn't see in the Bible, I was just like, well, that's clearly not in there. I've always been the black sheep of the Christian family, 100%. At Autumn Watkins with the $1.99. Hail Duncan. I mean Dalton. I mean Doug. Rock hard for Double D? Duncan? Doug and Duncan? Yeah, rock hard for D, whoever that is, whether it's me or Doug. Rock hard for both of us. And again, at Helping MAGA Deconstruct with the $2. That is just the ending of Breaking Bad, Duncan. What's the ending of Breaking Bad? What have I've seen the ending of Breaking Bad. What have I said tonight that resembles the ending of Breaking Bad? All right. We're going to talk to, oh boy, this is probably not going to end very well, but Dawa Abdul, PB and Jelly. Dawa, you do know I'm asking for Bible believers to come up, right?
Oh, you racist fuck. Yeah, just because I have the name.
It has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with your race, Dawa. It has everything to do with the fact that as a Muslim, you don't actually.
You hate your mother.
So it has nothing to do with the color of your skin, Dawa, or your race or your ethnicity. It has everything to do with your religion. If you're a Muslim, then you don't believe in the Bible.
I'm not a Muslim. Just because I have an Arab name doesn't mean I'm a Muslim.
What is Dawa? What is Dawa?
Dawa, that's my middle name.
No, it's not. I'm not stupid.
Dawa can refer. No, Dawa is.
You also it says peace be upon him in the end of it. PBUH. I'm not stupid. Why do you guys always lie for your God?
Abdul.
Why do you guys always lie for your religion?
Abdul.
Yeah, stop wasting our time. What a liar. Lying for Muhammad. Everyone in the YouTube comment section, can I get some for the members? Can I get some Justice for Aisha stickers? All right. At Brian Evans with the $4.99. I made a dumb challenge for myself. I will look up books that will convert atheists to Christianity to see if there are any good ones. Wish me luck. Well, Brian Evans, just so you know, there aren't going to be, I mean, I don't really need to wish you luck because there aren't really any good books out there that serve the purpose of like converting atheists. The best books out there are going to be hi Brianna. Oh, it's you. Okay. What did I say? Oh, I said Brian A. Evans, didn't I? Sorry, Brianna Evans. Yeah, well, Brianna, one of the main books that gets like put out there is gonna be like Lee Strobel's The Case for Christ. So there's the first book you can go read. It's real shit, and yet for some reason I continuously get Christians telling me to read it. It's not that good of a book. It's a horrible book. And at Carlos Valdez, Maven in Process, sending so generously 10 The Bible Guy gift memberships. If you're if you're out there and you want to get a Bible Guy membership, make sure you get on that. There you go. There's 10 free ones right there for the taken. Yeah. So, Christians, Timbo says there aren't any books that tell you to abandon critical thinking. Oh yeah, there's tons of those. But they're not very good at giving a reason to abandon critical thinking. Yeah. Let's see. I googled what dawa means. Wow. Yeah, dawa is literally, guys. Dawa is like Muslim apologetics. Like, we're not stupid. Like I don't know why they always lie about their religion. It's too bad that their holy book doesn't have something like, if you deny me before men, I will deny you before God in heaven, like the Christians do. Because at least like when Christians like try to pretend not to be Christian, I can like hold their feet to the fire, and because their religion tells them that they're not allowed to deny that they're Christians. But for some reason, Muslims are super cagey about not wanting to be identified as Muslims. And guys, use some amount of critical thinking. All right. Jeremy Cathcart, I'm going to ask you the same 4 questions I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Yeah.
Question number 2, are you a Bible believer?
Yeah.
Question number 3, how much of your Bible have you read?
I read about 80%.
All right. And question number 4, what are your pronouns?
Like, I'm a male, bro.
Okay, that's your sex. But what are your pronouns?
Like, he, I guess.
All right. Jeremy, he, him. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. I don't believe in the Bible. Jeremy, why should I?
Okay. I would say no. Okay. A lot of people like to say none of the events in the Bible have been proven, right? But
Well, I wouldn't say
also,
I wouldn't say none, because I would say that like 10 to 15% of the stuff in the Bible is like historical, but the rest of it, yeah, is mythical.
so dang, I just lost my train of thought. Listen, hold on, let me rethink that. Hold on. So I say, okay, yeah. So, but you know that none of the events in the Bible have been proven false either.
Yeah, they have.
Which ones?
The nativity story of Jesus. Like, that's it's quite impossible for the 2 versions of Jesus's birth story found in Matthew and in Luke to happen at the same time. It's impossible.
Say again.
It's impossible for the birth stories of Jesus found in Matthew and the other one found in Luke to both be true. They contradict each other.
Can you
And
explain?
So, according to the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus was born under the reign of King Herod the Great, correct?
Say again.
According to the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus was born during the reign of King Herod the Great, correct?
Yeah.
All right. King Herod the Great ruled the kingdom of Israel from 40 BCE to 4 BCE. Okay. Now, the Gospel of Luke tells us that Jesus was born 10 years after Herod was already dead, when Quirinius was the governor of Syria and did his census in 6 CE. Those both can't be true.
Yeah, so you missing it. So it represents, like, by the way, I'm reading a synopsis from Google. because I mess things up a lot. So it says the biblical accounts in Matthew and Luke represents different but complementary narratives of his physical birth in Bethlehem. And a
Wow.
theological
Well, Google's wrong, isn't it? Because
no,
ask
listen,
Google
can I,
when did King Herod the Great rule as king? Ask it.
listen. He's speaking on his eternal birth from God the Father.
Ask Google when King Herod the Great ruled. Yeah, correct, Kaleshi.
I'm asking. Hold on, I'm looking it up.
Oh, I'm just reading someone's comment. Reading
Oh,
AI overview. AI will be the fall of us. Yeah, people have got to learn to start like thinking critically and not just reading like AI overview on Google. What does it say?
it says King Herod the Great ruled Judea biblically from approximately 37 BCE until his death in 4 BCE, a period that aligns with the birth of Jesus as described in the Gospels of Matthew and Luke.
All right. Now ask it, when was Quirinius the governor of Syria? Or should I do it? Do you know how to spell Quirinius?
Hold on, give me a sec.
Here, maybe I should just do it.
I'm typing
All
it
right.
in, bro.
When was Quirinius the governor of Syria? Publius Sulpicius Quirinius was officially the Roman governor legate of Syria around AD 6. That was 10 years after
Bro,
King
it
Herod the
says right
Great was
here.
already
Wait a
dead.
minute. Wait a minute. You're you say what now? You said what time?
AD 6 or 6 CE. That's 10 years after King Herod the Great was already dead. See? It's right here on the screen, bud. So, how was Jesus born around 4 BC when King Herod died, but also born 10 years later when Quirinius was the governor of Syria?
Say question again, my bad.
How was Jesus? Dude, I'm gonna need you to listen. You're not listening. You keep asking me to repeat myself. How was Jesus both born during the reign of King Herod the Great around 4 BCE, but also born 10 years later when Quirinius was the governor of Syria?
Hold on. Okay, I'm about to try to explain.
Yeah, and by explain, you mean asking AI overview how to get out of this pickle, right? Because you
Nah,
don't know.
bro.
I can't just sit here and have a conversation with myself. I need you to respond.
Yeah, I feel you, bro.
Bro, I'm going to need you to say, Jeremy, I'm going to need you to have a conversation with me or else I'm going to have to move on.
I'm trying to do the back. I'm trying to read background context and learn this stuff, bro. And see
I've
what he's
already
talking about.
told you. I've given you the background context already. Jesus can Okay, here, Jeremy. If you had two people who wrote two different biographies about me, the Bible guy, and one guy wrote that I was born in 1996 under Bill Clinton, and then the second guy came around and said, "No, I was born in 2006 under Bush." Could those both be true?
I told you that you got it confused, bro.
I don't have anything confused. Where am I confused? Am I wrong on the
Alright,
dating?
bro, no, you're not
Bro.
wrong on dating, but he's not speaking. It's speaking on his eternal birth from God the Father and his temporal birth from
No.
Mary,
No,
signifying
but
the dual divine and
no.
human nature.
No.
Yes,
No, you obviously
Matthew
okay.
generalized
You're
focused on
obviously you're
Jesus.
reading some really shitty
Yes.
AI. You're reading some really shitty apologetics that AI has given you. But what does the Bible actually say? How about we ask that question? Neither the birth of Jesus as found in the Gospel of Matthew, nor the birth of Jesus as found in the Gospel of Luke are spiritual births of Jesus. They are both the physical birth of Jesus. Jesus is born during the reign of King Herod the Great in the Gospel of Matthew, and Herod seeks to kill the infant Jesus because he's born physically. The Gospel of Luke has Jesus being born physically, not eternally, metaphysically in the past. He's literally physically born because guess what? They go to the temple after 8 days after he's born and get the tip of his dick cut off. You don't do that to someone who's metaphysically born. So, try again, Jeremy. You're muted, by the way. You need to unmute yourself.
Yeah, no, I'm not muted, bro. Like I said, bro. The second verse they speaking on, bro. It's not two births, bro. You got it confused.
I think you're the only one who's confused here.
Oh,
Are
bro.
you intoxicated right now or inebriated in any manner?
Nah, let me just ask, is that the only reason why you don't believe in the Bible as like the word of
Bruh.
God?
Bruh. No, of course not. That's just one reason. You've
But
made the
that's not
claim.
a valid, bro.
You've made the
You're
claim that
misinterpreting.
nothing in the Bible. I haven't misinterpreted anything. You've yet to give me any good reason to think that I've misinterpreted anything. All you've done is made the astronomically stupid argument that one of these is a spiritual birth.
It is,
Yet
bro.
neither neither the Gospel of Matthew nor the Gospel of Luke ever make that claim.
Bro, I can show you in the scripture. Hold on.
Yeah, show me the verse in Matthew or Luke where it says that the birth of Jesus in these two passages is a spiritual as opposed to physical birth. Y'all are going crazy in the comment section. Bong water philosophy. Pikachu says Luke seems to place Jesus' birth around 6 CE, which would be after Herod's death. Yes, that's exactly true, Pikachu. This is why the two versions of Jesus' birth story cannot both be true. And I don't know what Jeremy's doing because he's not going to be able to find this imaginary verse that he's referencing.
I'm going to it now, bro.
Can you do it a little bit faster?
My bad, bro.
All right, Jeremy. If you
Yeah.
can't pick up the pace, I'm going to drop you because this is incredibly boring to listen to.
You want me to prove that it was a spiritual birth?
I don't need to prove that it's a spiritual birth. Yeah,
No, I
because
said you want me to prove that they was talking about a spiritual birth?
yes, that's all I've been doing. My heart
All
rate
right,
is
let's go to
slowing down
Matthew
listening to you.
28. Go to Matthew 28.
Why Matthew chapter 28? We're talking about the nativity narratives of Jesus, which are found in Matthew chapter 2 and Luke chapter 2.
You said what?
All right. Bye, Jeremy. Call in next time you're sober. Gee whiz. That was hard to listen to. I was incredibly bored talking to him. I'm convinced that he was being purposefully slow in order to obfuscate, because there's no way. There's just no way. He was hitting on all 4 medicated brain cells. Anyways, so he needs to educate himself and stop with apologetics. Yes, nothing is going at Christians. There's nothing which is going to kill the conversation more when talking to an atheist than sitting there and quoting AI overview. Just admit that you don't know what you're talking about. Like, come on. You shouldn't. You do you and be a decent person. Hey, yeah. I shouldn't believe in the Bible. That's correct. It's always, I don't know what it is about. It kind of annoys me anytime I get a Christian coming up here and go, well, no one can force you to believe in the Bible. Well, no shit, Sherlock. No one's asking you to force me to believe in the Bible. I'm asking you to convince me with reason to believe in the Bible. You believe we come from apes too. We don't just come from apes, Robert. We are apes. Prince Akira says, repent and believe in the gospel. Hard pass. Unless you give me a reason to believe that I should repent and believe the gospel, I'll do no such thing. Quantonaut, apes together strong. Yeah, this is true. We technically already are the planet of the apes. Very much so. A reverend says, so you're an atheist. Yeah, I'm an atheist, dude. Is the Higgs field similar to a superconductor in quantum physics? You're asking the wrong person, bud. But hey, Quantonaut, if you want to answer that question, you're more than welcome to come up and answer that question. Oh, hey, Brad in the comment section. Brad's always super unproductive in these conversations. And Quantonaut says, no, it's not. So, no, the Higgs field is not that thing. Brown says, they crying and won't request up. Yeah, that's pretty typical. I don't know why Christians are so scared to come up and have a conversation. Is it because they actually don't know the Bible? I think so. I think that might be the case. The CCC Christian comment crash out is crazy. Oh, Hasael is back. Hasael. Just to get a reminder for everyone, you at least 18? Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep. Hasael, are you at least 18 years old?
Yes, sir. I'm 35.
And question number 2, are you a Bible believer?
Yes, sir.
And how much of the Bible have you read?
I would say like 70%.
And what are your pronouns?
He, him.
Oh, all right, Hasael, he, him. Welcome back to the show. What do you got for us today for why I should believe that the Bible is true?
I mean, we recently had a conversation and then you kicked me out of your live after having this conversation. And you're telling people that Christians are running away from having a conversation with you. But like, I'm not trying to belittle you.
I don't care about the meta of the conversation. I probably kicked you off for a good reason. Are you just
You
here
didn't
to
have any
complain?
words.
Are you just
Nah,
here to complain?
let's have a conversation.
All right, there you go. What reason do you have for why I should believe the Bible is true?
Bill Gates recently announced his smart tattoo mark of the beast, and there's a one word.
That's right. You're the conspiracy theory guy. I don't give a shit about any of that. Because the Book of Revelation. No, because the Book of Revelation is about the things which will shortly come. I don't care. The Book of Revelation has nothing to do with that.
The scripture is being fulfilled publicly, but you don't care. But yeah, you're talking stuff about Christians. You don't care.
That's not. Jesus Christ, Hasael, you need to chill the fuck out, dude. No, Bill Gates has nothing to do with the Book of Revelation, because when does the Book of Revelation say that the things written in there will come to pass?
What do you mean?
The first few opening words of the Book of Revelation tell you the timeline for the things that are meant to happen.
Like the one world religion via Abrahamic family house that opened up in 2023 publicly, that's being fulfilled publicly.
Is this the non sequitur show? That wasn't an answer at all to what I said. Now, again, what are the opening lines to the Book of Revelation which tell us when these things must come to pass? Come on. I know you can read.
How is that relevant when 380 million Christians
It's
are enduring a
relevant.
public genocide? The
No,
same
they're not.
public
They're not.
genocide.
Again, Hasael, chill the fuck
You
out,
said the
dude.
other day,
I need you to answer the question that I'm asking and have an honest dialogue with me. For the love of your God, stop embarrassing yourself in front of my audience. Now, according to the book of
you have no
Revelation,
words.
in the first few opening lines of the book, when are the things found therein supposed to take place?
That witchcraft doesn't work on me. You say you don't care about 380.
I don't give it.
How are you
I don't give. I don't give a shit about the fake, like large number of like you think that are happening of genocide. Don't give a
You're a
shit.
bitch.
Hasael, you're embarrassing
You all
yourself.
say bitch.
Anyways, so I guess I'll just read it for everyone.
Uh,
Anyone who reads the opening line of the book of Revelation is going to see that it says that these are about the things which must shortly come to pass. Fun fact, Hasael, 2,000 years later is not things shortly coming to pass. Can you
It's interesting.
engage with what the book of Revelation actually says?
I mean, scripture is being fulfilled publicly. You keep saying it's not
It's
happening. It's not
not.
happening. It sounds like you don't have words. It
I
sounds
need
like
you.
you don't. Google it.
I need you
Google
to.
it. 380.
I need you to engage with your book. Come on, dude. You can do this. I believe in you. Read from me. Here.
You have
Don't
words,
disrespect.
right?
Don't disrespect your holy
300.
book. Don't disrespect your holy book. What does it say here in the first few verses of the book of
Aw,
Revelation?
man, 380 million Christians are enduring a genocide. You
I
don't
don't
want
give
to
a
talk
shit. I don't give a shit. Here, I'll read it because you don't want me to read the Bible. You
bro.
don't want.
You are a bitch, bro.
Here.
You're a bitch. You don't.
All right. Yeah, I probably I see now why I kicked him last time. Anyways, the revelation of Jesus Christ, which God gave him to show to his servants what must soon take place. And he made it known by sending his angel to his servant John about the things which must soon come to pass. Hey, Quantanut, is 2,000 years soon?
Well, it depends.
Relatively in human
On the
human
cosmic
timescale.
sort of scale,
On the cosmic scale, no. I mean, yes, but on the scale that the Israelites were working with, probably not. How are you doing, Justin?
no.
Hey, couldn't be better. Good to see you live, buddy. Good to see you, Quanta.
Did you see what I'm just now dealing with, and as far as the guests are concerned? Have you met Hasael before?
No, not yet.
Phoenician stones discovered in Puerto Rico spiritually confirms the lost tribes of Israel. What the fuck does that even mean? What Phoenician stones are either of you familiar with what the hell Hasael is referring to?
No idea.
Let me ask someone. I've got a crazy person asking about Phoenician stones in Puerto Rico. Any info? Let's see. It's probably some dumb conspiracy theory thing. Here's a summary of what is known and disputed about claims that Phoenician stones exist in Puerto Rico. The stones in question are often called the Nazario collection. According to historical records, they were discovered in the late 19th century by a Puerto Rican priest, Jose Maria Nazario y Cancel, near Guayanilla on the southern coast of Puerto Rico. The collection reportedly consists of hundreds of carved stones. Nazario and some early investigators speculated that these might represent a writing system connected to the Old World. In 2019, a team at the University of Haifa examined a subset of pieces from the Nazario collection using microscopic and use-wear analysis. They determined the stones and the engravings are not modern forgeries. The patina, weathering, and tool markings are consistent with long-term burial. On some of the stones, they found traces of gold and red pigment. The results of the analysis led research to assert that the stones are ancient, though notably they did not confirm that the glyphs correspond to any known Old World script. In fact, the glyphs remain of unknown origin. Unknown origin. So not Phoenician. They don't have the Phoenician alphabet on them. Shocker. Crazy that the conspiracy theory Hasael was just spreading this misinformation. But, good on you, bud. Good on you. Let's see. Any Quantanite, I saw that you were live last night. I didn't know you had your own lives.
Sometimes I do. It depends on how busy I am and everything.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
Grad school keeps me busy.
Oh, Eric Ramirez, thank you for the cheeky wiggle. Love the cheeky wiggle. Love to see that Patrick ass popping. Justin, did you read the passages, the passage from Jeremiah that I shared with you this morning? Justin?
Oh, sorry. Your TikTok lagged there for a second. I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, okay.
Your YouTube feed doesn't lag at all, but the TikTok feed does a little bit.
Oh yeah, I
actually didn't lag on my end, so that might have been on your end.
I moved my my thing for a second, which is probably what led to the lag. But Justin, did you read that passage from Jeremiah I shared with you this morning?
No, not yet. I've been driving almost all day, but
I'll give you a summary. It's like only 10 verses from Jeremiah 24, and basically Jeremiah says that there are amongst all the children of Israel are like figs, and the good figs are the ones which were carried into the exile, and the bad figs are the ones who remained in the land. He says that explicitly to confirm what you and I were talking about earlier today.
Yeah, the division between the righteous remnant and the unrighteous is explicit, not implied. It's explicit.
Yeah, it's crazy that most Christians that I talk to about Isaiah 53 aren't aware of the concept of the righteous remnant. Even when I was a Christian, I was super familiar with it because it's a huge part of like New Testament theology.
Yeah, I mean, I learned about it way back in Catholic high school. Like, it's not a unheard of thing. Like, it's baked into the religion.
Now, if there's any Christians out there, normally I don't do science topics, but because I got Quantanut up here, if you have a reason why I should believe in the Bible that's based on some poor understanding of science that you have, you're more than welcome to come up and have that conversation with us. And until I get some opposition, if you are a friendly and you have a Bible question or a science question, come on up. Let's have that conversation. I'm more than welcome, more than okay with having you wonderful, beautiful people asking to come up.
Yeah, let me at him.
Let me at him. She says the Bible says the earth is flat. That is correct. At Brianna Evans, I said your name correctly this time, with the $1.99. Right now, I'm reading Skeptic versus Scripture by David Kidd. I've never heard of this book. Have either of you?
I'm not, but I stopped reading apologetics book way back in like the aughts.
Okay, I'm gonna bring up our next guest, Levi. Levi, whose name means to cling. Levi, I'm gonna ask you the same 4 questions I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1: are you at least 18 years old?
Yes, I am.
Question number 2: are you a Bible believer?
I am not. I just have a question.
All right, and then I'll skip the 3rd question and go to the 4th question. What are your pronouns, Levi?
He, him.
All right, Levi, he, him. What brings you up to the line?
Yeah, so I was with a friend of mine. I was trying to run 2 Samuel 12, verse 11. And the thing that was coming up a lot was he kind of thought that it was not God doing the punishment for David, but rather the punishment was going to happen anyways, and so God just didn't interfere. So it isn't really God's fault.
I would just simply ask him, what does the text actually say? Does not Yahweh explicitly say, I will cause this thing to happen?
Yeah, but he says then in the Old Testament, apparently they use I will a lot, but it's actually just God being like a prophet almost and just showing what's going to happen.
Well,
yeah, go ahead.
The
Joseph.
verb in there for I will raise up trouble within your own house. Kum is the root word. It's in the causative Hebrew stem, meaning I'm causing it to happen. So you can't get around that.
No, that's fair enough. See, I didn't know that. I was like,
when you get a chance to, go and look at the actual Hebrew words that are being used here. Look at the tenses and the type of speech which is being implemented, and use that as the backbone of your argument or your debate with this individual. Because unless they just want to say that words don't mean words, which is probably where the conversation will end up going, they have to concede that the text at least plainly says that it is Yahweh who causes this thing to occur.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Absolutely, Levi. You have a wonderful day.
You too.
Richard Cummings. I'm going to ask you the same 4 questions I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
I am.
Question number 2, are you a Bible believer?
I am not.
All right, then I'll skip question number 3 and go to question number 4. What are your pronouns?
He, him.
All right, Richard, he, him. What brings you up to talk to me?
Hey, so I was actually recommended to your live from shit, I don't even remember, some other live I was just on. He just had to end. But I'm in a lot of these, so I wanted to come say hey and then
Ian probably.
And I thought maybe we could be, get to be friends, whatever. I like doing these lives. So
was it Ian?
Do what?
Was it Ian?
Oh yeah. It was
Ian.
Hell yeah, W to Ian for the shout out. Well, what question did you have for Ian that you're bringing to my attention now?
Oh no, sorry, I didn't really have any questions. I just like doing these, and I kind of wanted to help, or if you had the room for it. If not, I'll jump down in the comments. But I just wanted to say hey.
I'm only bringing up people right now who either have questions for me or would like to debate the topic at hand.
So let me ask you. I guess I do have a question that I can. So, were you a Christian or were you religious at all ever, or were you always an atheist?
Oh yeah, I've dipped my toes in a few spiritual pools. I've practiced Christianity both as a Protestant and as a Catholic, and I've also practiced Judaism as a Noahide. So I've gotten around. A Noahide is a Gentile who doesn't choose to formally convert to Judaism, so he doesn't undergo circumcision and doesn't take upon himself all the 613 commandments of the Torah. They are Gentiles basically who worship the God of Israel and acknowledge that Judaism is true, but they worship him in the way that Gentiles are supposed to, not the way that Jews do.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. I was Southern Baptist, born and raised, and went to Christian school and everything for, kindergarten to 12. So I'm kind of in a similar boat. But anyway, I guess that's all I got. I won't waste your time.
All right. Hey, it was nice meeting you, Richard.
Yeah, you too, man. Bye.
Richard is my dad's name. When I had step-siblings, my stepsister didn't like him all that much. She used to call him Dick. I think Dick's a pretty cool name, though. Is it just me? All right. Kurgo, I'll ask you the same 4 questions I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Yes, and it's another friendly question. Since you're taking them, if there are people behind me, then I can drop, or you can put me on mute until you need people to come up. But if not, I was going to ask about Jeremiah 37 and 38. These are, from my readings, these are clearly doublets. It's 2 contradictory stories.
Real quick,
on how Jeremiah.
Real quick,
Sorry.
what are your pronouns?
Oh, he, him.
He, him. All right. Kurgo, he, him. Yeah, you want to talk about Jeremiah 37 and 38?
Yes. It's just the fact that I wasn't like, if I look it up, I've not been able to find anyone writing about this, but it's two different stories about how Jeremiah ended up in the courtyard of Zedekiah when Nebuchadnezzar took Jerusalem. And
It's
I
honestly been
mean,
a
is
very,
there a
very.
reason? Like, are these not actually like? Can these be reconciled easily? Is that why no one talks about it? Or did the author was this from the same author and this was actually describing two times?
See, it's been a very, very long time since I've read these particular chapters of the book of
Yeah.
Jeremiah.
So
But
I can
maybe
I,
my friend Justin here might be a bit more
yeah.
familiar. Justin,
I can
are
also summarize them
The redactional
real quick.
history of Jeremiah is actually pretty intricate. It was being edited for hundreds of years,
Mm,
so you'll find more than one doublet. In fact, chapter 22,
yeah.
chapter 23 and chapter 33 are doublet as well. The same prophecy is given in both chapters, bar for bar.
Yeah, I
And
know there's
in the oldest
some
manuscripts, like chapter 7 is completely missing. And if you compare the versification from the Hebrew to the Greek, the chapters are off. There's 10 chapters that are off by a pretty large margin. So the reality is, when Jeremiah died, a bunch of people that followed Jeremiah was collecting his prophecies and assembling them in a book. At least that's the legend. And so that's why it took a long time to get an official copy of Jeremiah, because not only was it something Jeremiah didn't do as an initiative, but they had to collect his writings in exile. And then after they did that, they add their own shit to it anyways.
Yeah, I'm seeing
Yes.
here that these are in fact just two different traditions about Jeremiah that have been brought together. It's very similar. It's very similar to our whole Jesus problem, or actually, what's more similar to it is probably going to be like what you find in the Pentateuch, where you'll find two different conflicting narratives about how Joseph was sold to the Egyptians. Like it's just gonna be,
that's what I was gonna say. Where the other, I have noticed the when he has a brant in front of the temple, that I've noticed that's a doublet. But the thing about this one is that it's one of those irreconcilably contradictory. Has to be just like the whole Herod and Quirinius thing. Like he can only end up in the Zedekiah's courtyard until Jerusalem is captured. That only happens that's one specific. That's 580, whatever it was, 586. He can't end up there until 586, and then end up there until 586 a second time. That's impossible.
Oh yeah, I agree.
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I'll make
And
sure to
also
add this to my repertoire. I'll do a little bit
Yeah.
more do a little more deeper study into it and add it to my repertoire
All
if
right.
I think it's good enough to add to the biblical story contradictions.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Happy to help.
Yep.
And at Rivera Track Runner, with the $1.99 saying, love the content. Well, Rivera, the content loves you. We're glad to have you here with your super chat. Much appreciated. Here, let me. Oh, did Quan? Oh no, Quan's still here. I was wondering what the heck was going on there.
For anyone interested, or Dalton, not this Thursday, but
Just trying to
next
work on
Thursday,
tabs.
Kip Davis is going to be on my stream, and we're actually doing. The topic is going to be the redaction history of Jeremiah, because that's what his PhD dissertation was on. Was his specific bread and butter. So if you're interested in Jeremiah, next Thursday, the place would be in my stream. But I don't know if you're live on Thursdays or not.
Thursdays?
Yeah.
Normally I do, but listen, I think that day maybe I'll go earlier or something like that. What time is it going to be?
Shoot, I think 6. I'll ask him. But
Yeah.
either way, we will be taking questions from the audience too.
Absolutely. So Kurgo, look at that.
He'll be taking questions, not me. I'm not the pro.
So Kurgo, that's your look at that. That's exactly the kind of person you want to talk to. Perfect timing for you to come up, because Justin's got an expert on the Book of Jeremiah coming on his channel. So you'll have a opportunity to ask your questions about those doublets from an actual expert in the field. What happens if you believe?
Very different from my dissertation.
Oh, I bet. Archangel Israel says, should you believe in the Bible, ? And then says later on, what was that? Oh, what happens if you believe and he's not real? Oh, then I wasted so much of my life. Like, there is a huge misconception on the part of Christians that believing and it not being true, you'll lose absolutely nothing. That's absolutely not true. We'll get to that in a second. But first, I'm going to bring up the next guest, Pumpkin Gnome. Pumpkin Gnome, I'm going to ask you the same 4 questions I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Yes.
Question number 2, are you a Bible believer?
As of now, yes.
All right. Question number 3, how much of your Bible have you actually read?
A good portion. I went to a Presbyterian college and I actually had to read the Oxford Study Bible. So mine is from like 2007 probably.
All right. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I like that. And then
It was
question
an
number
all girls
4,
college too.
and then question number 4, what are your pronouns?
She, her.
All right. Pumpkin Gnome. If I could just call you Pumpkin, it's gonna sound like I'm using a.
That's fine.
It sounds like what do you call those? I'm being very sweet to you. So listen, Pumpkin. She, her. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. I don't believe in the Bible. Pumpkin, why should I?
Well, as of right now, I don't really have a great reason. It's not very factual. I mean, like most mythical books, it has some good points in it. Psalms can be kind of good at times. I mean, but as of right now, I don't really have a great reason for it.
So what is leading you to like hold on to belief in the Bible?
Honestly, I'm probably in a really strong church environment. I still have a lot of obligations and everything to my church. Obligations in terms of like duties that I said I would do, that kind of thing. And my church has about, I think it's like 80 something people in it, but we do pretty strong work in the community. So really just obligatory stuff. Like this weekend, I'm doing the announcements and reading for Advent.
But when it comes to like your personal life, like, do you still believe that, for example, Jesus was the Messiah, or that Yahweh exists?
I mean, I believe it could be a possibility, but not in the way that people write or talk about God or Jesus. I mean,
it sounds to me like you might be an atheist, Pumpkin.
I am like a little bit. I've always been like a little bit of an atheist, and to the Israel guy, we do have a soup kitchen. We just got that grant, so that's part of the reason why I'm staying. But like, yeah, I'm kind of an atheist. But I actually had a question for Quant with the time argument for God.
All right.
So I was reading the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy, and it was the part on singularities and black holes. I'm not going to say anything salacious like physics breaks down or anything, because apparently the physics are just not known yet. But it does, I think when I was reading the article, it talked, well, not the article, but the little booklet, which is probably what it really is. It talked about seeing time differently from the event horizon versus not someone, but something that is closer to the singularity, particularly as it pertains to time dilation. If you're
Yeah.
sort of at the singularity, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, it said that time appears to stop if you're looking at something that's at the singularity from the event horizon. And if you're going into the singularity, or theoretically, if you're looking out from the singularity, it can seem as if the universe, you're seeing the entirety of the universe's time all at one time. Is that necessarily true, or do I have that understanding correct?
So a couple things. Firstly, there is an effect where if you're on the outside of the black hole looking in, it looks like things that are at the event horizon are frozen in time. That's not actually an effect of time dilation. That's an effect of the fact that light can't escape the event horizon. So the light takes longer and longer to leave the black hole the closer it gets to the event horizon. And this gives it the appearance like it's slowing down, but that's not actually what's happening. And secondly, as for what's happening at the actual singularity, I don't really think you can say that general relativity makes a prediction as to what specifically happens at that moment or at that position, because it diverges. That's what a singularity is. It's like a divide by zero error. So you can't really take any claim at that individual point seriously. And regardless, we have good reason to suspect that we would need a more advanced theory to figure out what's actually happening in that region. Singularities likely do not exist. And then thirdly, if you were in a black hole looking out, you would not actually see the entire universe pass. I believe actually Dr. Blitz made a really good video as to why. There's a good geometric argument as to why that would not happen. But
Okay,
I
so
can't
I
really
know
summarize
that
it here. It's a complicated argument.
I know that's one of the arguments. But in your experience, that would not be something that was possible. So time would operate the same. It would just seem different.
Well, I mean, time dilation is a real thing. Like
Yeah.
the passage of time slows faster or slower depending on where you are and how fast you're moving. That is a very real thing. But I wouldn't ever say that it comes to a stop completely. That's not really a thing that it predicts.
But you can have two vastly different experiences of that time.
Oh yeah, and
within the
we already
same
see we can
time
do this in the under laboratory conditions with
Mhm.
relativistic particles.
But the
there
point-
are unstable particles that when they are stationary, they last an incredibly short amount of time. But when they are accelerated up to near the speed of light, essentially their internal clocks ticks slow enough such that they can live long enough to study.
So basically, the whole yada yada argument about time stopping, that goes out the window. That's just kind of turning into like a modern apologetic. Is that correct? Sort of.
A little bit. It's sort of a pop science understanding of it, but it's not something to take seriously.
And I did have I'm sorry. And I did have a question for Justin.
You're good.
If he's available.
Yeah, what's up?
Well, I talked to you before and I kind of reverted. I kind of slipped back. Sorry about that. But Ian often asks the question, could God lift a rock could he create a rock that's so heavy he can't lift it? And I kind of always thought, well, God could do that. He would just create a tool to lift it. And I was talking to my pastor, and he knows I'm going through like weird stuff. So apparently, is it true that there are a lot of incidences within the Bible in which God does use tools as a means to their end or his end, whichever one you want to say?
I mean, Moses was a tool. So, if humans can be
In
tools,
more ways than one.
But does God use objects like we use objects?
Well, I know in one part of the Bible, I forgot which one it was. I had it highlighted, but he uses like a flaming sword.
Yeah, in the garden, he places a flaming sword to keep the humans away.
He has fiery arrows that he shoots forth from his quiver. He rides upon
So
the
would it
clouds.
So would it just be suboptimal for God to use tools, or would it be still contradictory? Because if we're
No,
creating,
it's still a true paradox. Because if he could lift the rock by any means, that means he failed at making a rock so big or so heavy that he couldn't lift it.
oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Because I was just thinking, like, humans lift things that are too heavy for them to lift every day, and we're made in his image. So, but the whole point is it wouldn't even be able to exist.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just depend by
that's why
any
it's a true
means to the
paradox.
end of that.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for your help. I really do appreciate it.
Much appreciated.
sure thing.
Thank you
Good to
for
hear.
coming out, Pumpkin.
Yeah, sure thing.
You know, Dalton, a long time ago, I thought that I had a solution to the paradox, and it wasn't a solution. But I still think it's the closest version of a solution, which is it would be an infinite regress of God having to increase his strength every time he created the rock.
Oh my god, that's so funny. And yeah, Moses is such a tool. By the way, Yahweh's LLC, you were about to come up. Like the conversation just with Pumpkin just ended, so you were about to have your chance to. There we go. So Yahweh's LLC. I'm going to ask you the same 4 questions that I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1: are you at least 18 years old?
Yeah.
Question number 2: are you a Bible believer?
Yes.
Question number 3: how much of your Bible have you actually read?
The majority of it, probably most of it.
And then question number 4: what are your pronouns?
I'm a man.
Okay, but what are your pronouns?
You can address me how you want to. It doesn't matter.
Well, no, I'm just asking what your pronouns are.
I mean, I'm not going to participate in that kind of...
If you're not going to participate in the conversation, then that'll be the end of the conversation.
Yes, so you're going to force Christians into participating in something.
I'm going to force you to use English grammar. That's correct.
Well, you
I thought
already
you said
know.
I thought you said you believed in the Bible.
Right. If you already know that I'm a man, then you would assume that I'll be I want to be
Nope.
I
know some men who don't.
How are you going to address me?
I know a man who
How are
goes
you
by
gonna
they.
address me?
I know a man that goes by they them.
Right, but do Christian play in that
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
stupidity? No, they don't.
There are
No,
some
they
there are
don't.
some there are some Christians who
You're
are
a
smart.
liar.
There are many Christians who are smart enough to know that that gender and sex aren't necessarily the same thing, and that
That's
people have
exactly
all
the
kinds of
point.
pronouns.
That's
So
exactly the point. You're being
so they
disingenuous by asking
no,
Christians to
you're
name their
you're
pronouns
being
when you
stubborn. No, Christians. There are plenty of Christians who are not bigoted against trans people and have no problem with
There is
answering
no
this question.
bigotry here, right?
I
There's
doubt
no
that.
bigotry.
So Yahweh's LLC. You can either be honest and just tell me what your pronouns are, or I can
You're
just
not
move
gonna
on to
use them in the first place.
my
You are not gonna use them in the first place.
audiences.
Are you gonna refer to me as a he or a him?
I'll call you an
Is that
it.
what you're gonna do?
I'll call you an it if
No,
you don't
you're
give
gonna
me
call
any
me by my
answers.
name, right? You're gonna
No.
call me by my name.
When
I
you
already gave you
leave,
the pronouns.
when you
It's
when you leave, am I going to say it was being such a stubborn ass, or would it say he was being such a stubborn ass, or were they being such a stubborn ass, or was she being such a stubborn ass? Which one is it?
stubborn. Fine, it's he and him.
There you go. That's 2 minutes and a half. I'll never
That
get
wasn't
back
so
to my
hard,
life.
was it?
No, yeah. So Yahweh's LLC, he, him. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. I don't believe in the Bible. Tell me, Yahweh, why should I?
Maybe same thing. You shouldn't put your beliefs on, science, I guess.
I don't put
Hey, yo.
beliefs on science. I just accept the evidence. Do you have any evidence in favor of the
There
Bible
is no
being true?
evidence. There is no evidence that evolution is real. That's the point.
Oh
Right?
boy.
Same thing.
Uh,
There is not.
Somebody
is.
gets snitched.
Yeah, someone sent out the bat signal to scientific snitch. Now, I know you would love to talk about science because for some reason Christians don't like actually talking about the Bible. But Yahweh, I'm going to ask you again, why should I believe that the Bible is true? Because even if evolution wasn't true, I still wouldn't believe in the Bible. So why should I believe that the Bible is
Okay.
true?
All right. Yes. So the Bible has reference to historical facts, right? That happens. It's a historical book, right? There's certain things that it mentions that are historically factual, right? Even though science wants to deny what it says.
Did you know that in the Marvel comic books that the superheroes actually help firefighters and police officers clean up after the 9/11 attacks occur? 9/11 was a historical event. Does that mean that the Marvel comic book is true?
Yeah, I observed the 9/11, right?
Did he
There
say
was no
yes?
such thing as Marvel
Well, no,
characters that were helping
yeah. And guess what?
firefighters.
There was a Babylon, but there was no prophet Daniel. I say I can do the same thing. Why should I just because the Bible has a few nuggets of historical accuracies here and there, the majority of it is inaccurate, but why should I believe that, for example, Jesus was the Messiah or the Son of God, or that the Exodus occurred? Why should I believe these things are true when we have no evidence in favor of these propositions?
There are evidence that points to an Exodus, right? Or to that, well, not the Exodus as itself, but like there are evidence that there was Semitic people that were working in Egypt at the time.
Do we have any evidence that Israelites were enslaved in Egypt in mass?
Well, they weren't known as Israelite at that time, right? Even though they did speak Semitic, or they did write in Semitic
Do we have
literature.
any evidence that the people we call the Israelites, or that they were called Hebrews at the time, were enslaved en masse in Egypt? Do we have any evidence for this?
Yeah, the New Kingdom.
That's
right during the New
that doesn't
Kingdom.
mean anything to me. What about
During
the
New Kingdom in Egypt, right, is between 1500 to 1300 BC, right? There was an influx of mass labor, right? And
From who?
that could only mean,
From
right,
who?
that could only mean two things, right? Because Egypt itself couldn't provide the type of labor that would cause that influx, right? So either they had to force.
According to 1 Kings 6, they already left by that time, though. I think your timeline's off.
Yeah, the Exodus took place around
No.
1440 BCE because it took place 480
Yeah.
years before Solomon's temple was built. When was Solomon's temple built?
No, according to biblical calculation, the Exodus happened around 1200 BC.
No. Again, when
Yeah.
was Solomon's temple built?
It doesn't specifically say when it was built.
Are you able to deduce using any historical data when Solomon's temple was built?
I mean, that's just another speculation, right? It's not
It's not speculation if you have evidence in favor of that position. Like, for example, do we know when the fall of Jerusalem was for a fact? And the answer is
The
yes.
fall of Jerusalem,
Yeah.
like 70 AD.
Under the Babylonians.
Oh, yeah. So that was around like 4 BC, 3 BC,
586 BCE.
That's what I'm saying. Around the
using
5th century
using that, we're able to calculate like the timing of when Solomon's temple would have been built, which would have been 930 to 922 BCE.
Right.
Using
200
that
years, 200 years or 2000. No, yeah, 200 years after the Exodus, right?
480 years after the Exodus, according to 1 Kings
Okay,
chapter 6.
that would then if you said when was the temple built?
In 960 BCE. So, if you go back,
Approximately, right?
Yeah. So if you go back
Approximately, though. Yeah.
480 years before 960 BCE, when do you get? What's the date?
Like around 13
14,
BC.
1440 BCE.
What do you mean? You said 900 BC or 9 century
906
BC?
960 BCE. Go back 480 years. You get to
Right.
around 400,
They moved it back
1440
right,
BCE.
to 1300, right?
1440 BCE.
You said 400 years.
480 years.
Oh, so you're being like, like you're being
Yes,
specific.
because
Like,
1 Kings 6
but
1
that's not
tells
how it
us that
works. Though.
1 Kings 6 chapter 1 tells us that the Exodus occurred 480 years before the building of Solomon's temple. I'm being specific because the Bible tells us it was 480 years before Solomon's temple.
How do you make the conclusion that Solomon's temple was built
In 960, I already told you, because we know when the Babylonian exile occurred, and we're able to date, using that, we're able to date when Solomon would have been alive.
You
And
don't
therefore,
know the actual date of the exile itself.
yes, we do.
Okay.
I'm waiting. This is I've already told you, it's around 538 BCE.
It's around, right? It's around.
Yeah, 538 BCE.
You don't know
538.
the for sure
5.
date.
Okay, here it's around
You're just making
538.
speculation.
Here's the date range. 538 to 539 BCE. That's the date range.
It could be 400 BCE.
No.
You're just being
No.
selective on.
I'm not
which-
being
which,
selective.
yeah,
I'm not
you
being
are.
selective.
You are being selective.
I'm not.
On the date you
This
went
is
in,
the
so you
all
could
the
fit that
all
in
the
there.
data converges on Solomon's temple being built around 960 BCE. And if the Bible is true that the Exodus was 480 years prior, that would place the Exodus at around 1440 BCE. You can suck it up and deal with it because the data is on my side. You're just saying, your argument's basically just, nuh-uh, bro.
What I'm saying is there is not a definitive date. For
This is about
event.
as definitive as you can get in history.
No, it's literally just estimations, right? Like that's literally what it
Based
is.
on not based on us shrugging our shoulders and going, well, maybe it was around this.
Okay,
No,
even if you're right.
we're using actual
you're right.
we're actually using actual historical data
Okay,
to come
I'll
to the
give you that.
conclusion about when
That's
these
fine.
dates took place. The Exodus
Even if
took
you're
place
right.
200 years prior to when you say it did.
So even if you're right, and the Exodus right happened
1440 BCE.
1440 BCE, right? That was when Egypt saw a decline in their mass labor force, or like their mass labor.
What is the evidence that the Israelites / Hebrews were enslaved in mass in Egypt, as opposed to
Like
another
I'm-
people group?
That's what I'm saying. Well, they were the inscriptions that were used, right, were the same inscriptions that were used by the Israelites.
What does that? That's so vague. What does that even mean? What
What do you
inscriptions are
mean?
you referring to? What inscriptions are you referring to?
The Proto-Semitic inscriptions that are found in the
Proto-Semitic is not something that belongs only to the Israelites. You know that?
Yeah, it does. It actually is. There is no evidence that
The
other
Canaanites.
nations used.
Proto-Semitic is the root language from which we get Canaanite language, and also the Israelite language, and also Arab.
Yeah, but the Israelites are the ones who invented it while they
No.
were enslaved in Egypt.
No.
1 second.
No.
And they 1 second. Let me finish.
The Arabs, the
Let me
Canaanites,
finish my point
the
before you offend me.
Canaanites, the Arabs, and the Israelites all have all their languages go back to a common ancestor that we call Proto-Semitic, and it wasn't invented by any of the groups that I just named off. It precedes them.
No, it don't.
Yes, it
Proto-Semitic
does.
was a.
That's how.
Can I finish a point, bro?
That's
Can
how
I finish a
That's
point?
how linguistics works. It's
1
like proto
second.
Indo.
Can I
It's like
finish a point before
it's
you
like
try to
it's like proto Indo-European. Like there are no nations today that spoke in Proto-Indo-European, but all the languages of the nations that exist today go back to a common linguistic ancestor of Proto-Indo-European. The same is true for Proto-Semitic. The Israelites did not speak it, nor did the Canaanites nor the Arabs, but all their languages go back to a common ancestor, which is called Proto-Semitic.
You really love listening to yourself, huh?
I really like facts. I
Well,
really
can
don't like
you
when people
can
just make
you
shit up.
so can I relay my point before you try to refute it though?
Yeah, if you can say facts, go ahead.
All right. So it's been it's known that Proto-Semitic language, like especially like Phoenician Hebrew, right?
Phoenician and Hebrew are two different languages.
No, like Phoenician, like uh, I forgot the actual term they used to say Proto-Hebrew,
Paleo
whatever.
Hebrew. Paleo
Yeah,
Hebrew is
Paleo. Yeah,
different.
Paleo Hebrew.
Paleo Hebrew is not the same thing as Proto-Semitic.
Well, so the Proto-Semitic language it originate from the Egyptian hieroglyphics, right? Where the workers that used to work at these mines, they 1 second, you can hear me out
No,
first
that's
before you
called
try to refute it.
Proto-Sinaitic. That's different.
What?
Proto-Sinaitic is the one you're looking for.
Yeah.
Proto-Semitic is different.
It's the same thing.
No, they're
Proto-Semitic,
not.
we're Proto-Semitic,
Proto-Sinaitic is
Proto-Semitic. Hold on.
Proto-Sinaitic is the version of the Israelite language alphabet, which goes back to like pictograms. Proto-Semitic is the language that was spoken by the common ancestors of the Semitic people groups.
Well, thank you for correcting me. Thank you for correcting me, because that is my point. So in these mines, there's literally Proto-Sinaitic inscriptions, right, that were written on inscribed in the mines, right, on the walls and whatnot.
In
right,
what
that
mine?
proves the there's
Because I'm
Egyptian
gonna fact
mines that
check
were like
this.
outside of Egypt, like they were by Sinai, right, where the Egyptians were well, they say, historians say they were employed or they were workers of Egyptians, but they are not. I would say they were slaves to the Egyptians.
Let's see. A corpus of about 30 to 40 Proto-Sinaitic inscriptions and fragments comes from Serabit al-Qadim. When does it date to, though, is the question. So inscriptions
Like
generally dated to the
15
Middle
to
Bronze Age,
1300.
mostly between the mid-19th century BCE, so around 1850 BCE, and mid-16th century to 1550 BCE. So this is, again, before the Exodus would have taken place.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that belongs
So
to the Hyksos people. They were expelled in the 1600s. Different people group. They actually did rise to power, and they actually had a war with Egypt. Egypt had to go to war to expel them from the
why
land
would they be writing Proto-Sinaitic
because the
linguistics?
Hyksos spoke Semitic languages.
See, this is the problem. You want to be selective on what history
But
you want
not
to
being
use, right? So
this is
now,
not. We're
what?
not being selective, Yahweh. You stop using words you don't know the meaning of. This is becoming a problem with you. We're not being selective. We're citing the actual data from actual
What's
like
his
scholars
source?
on this
What's his
on this
source? What's his
position.
source? What's your source that there was a group of people that got exiled that used proto Sinaitic right
Buddy, just look up the Hyksos
language?
expulsion. This is
Bro,
not
that
like
is
a
not a
hidden
source,
piece of
bro.
history.
That is not a source. That you're just saying look it up. Like that's my point.
Well,
Right? I
I'm not.
literally
I'm
showed
not
you.
on a computer, so I can't look it up. Dalton, I'm sure, was more than happy to give you maybe a reference by Kenneth Kitchens or James Meyer or any other Egyptologist.
But that's the point, right? I brought some some implication that, Israel could have been slaves in Egypt, right?
Except for the consensus of the scholarship would disagree with you. These were not the
Right.
Hebrews.
These secular scholars are sure gonna like deny, certain facts that would
Oh,
support
there we
the
go,
truth
people.
of
Can
the
you ring the
validity of the
conspiracy?
Bible.
Can we ring the conspiracy theory bell now, people? Wonderful. I don't give a shit about like what you think that the people are, that the secular scholarship are out to disprove the Bible. No, secular scholars are out to simply uncover the data and see where it leads them. There is no conspiracy theory in order to like disprove the Bible specifically to be true. Because
Also,
what happens?
James Hoffmeyer.
What was that, Justin?
James Hoffmeyer and Kenneth Kitchens, the two Egyptologists, like Kenneth Kitchens and James Hoffmeyer, the two Egyptologists I just mentioned, are both Christians.
Ooh. Now what, Yahweh?
And what did they say? What was their conclusion on the proto-Sinaitic inscriptions?
That this was the inscriptions by the Hyksos people.
Right, based on
Because
what?
it lines up with the period of the Hyksos. The
Again, this
Hyksos
is
were Semitic-speaking people.
yeah. These works predate when the Exodus would have taken place.
No, my point was that these during that time, the New Kingdom is when they saw the influx of mass work, like mass laborers.
But who
right?
were they? But who were they?
Right, right. And then, right, what? So listen. So by that time, they found these inscriptions, these proto-Sinaitic inscriptions, right, in these mines, right, which the only conclusion, not the only conclusion, but one of the deduction that they can come out with, right, is that either they were like they were causing forced labor.
Who?
Right?
Who is being
The
enslaved?
Egyptian.
No, who's being enslaved? Who are the people?
It's not known, but
No, it is known.
It is known.
No, it's not.
We know that they enslaved Hyksos people and other Canaanites. They write about it.
What was that? What's that again?
Look up the name for the Canaanites was the Shasu. There was all kinds of Shasu that were kidnapped and imprisoned and forced into labor.
Like Yahweh's
Yeah, there
LLC. Nothing that we're saying here are in contention with the majority of scholars, both secular and Christian and Jewish. The consensus of scholarship agrees.
Well, after this so-called Exodus, right, which would be around 1300.
Nope, 1440
1400.
BCE.
Right. So after that, 400 years later, right, this group of people emerge in the Canaanite, like the around Canaan, like the Levant, right, where now
400 years.
start-
400 years after the alleged Exodus is when Solomon's temple would have been built.
That's not history, actually. Well,
Yeah. Okay. If you
400 or
want,
200.
if you want to deny First Kings chapter 6 verse 1, be my guest.
Well, but history states that there was this group of people that immigrated onto the Levant right
The
after
Hyksos.
the Exodus. Yeah,
The Hyksos.
exactly.
Not the
No,
Israelites,
not
not
the
the
Hyksos,
Hebrews.
the Israelites,
No,
because
all the data seems to support the idea that the Israelites were always in the land of Canaan. They never existed en masse enslaved in Egypt. There's nothing in the archaeological data to
that's not
support
true.
that position.
That's not
You've
true.
yet
That's
to
not
give
true.
us. You've yet to give us anything.
There's data that shows, right, that during that time, a mass
No,
of people.
not during that time. Hundreds of years before, those proto-Sinaitic inscriptions predate by a
after.
few hundred years the Exodus.
I'm talking about after the collapse of the the labor force in Egypt, right? Like where all of a sudden these mines just stop, just cease, up in operation, right? After a couple hundred, like I wouldn't say 100 years, like right after that, there was a group of people that
Wait,
showed up.
I got a question, Yahweh. How
Hold
the
on, let
fuck
me
did
finish my
Ramses
point.
II go on his massive building campaign for 70 years without any labor?
What's
In the
that
middle
again?
of the 1200s,
Go
Ramses
ahead.
II was one of the most prolific builders in all of Egyptian history.
That's a lie. What was the timeline again?
During the
1 second.
1200s.
What was the timer? 1200s. So according to historians, 1200s is when Egypt started to see a decline in buildings and labor and mass laboring, right? Where
What
the labors
what
that were done
historian?
was usually,
What
huh?
historian? What historian?
Bro, it's a known fact. Just look it up, bro. It's a known fact. You want me to pull it up for real?
Yes, you demand
You're
for
being
us to give
disingenuous right now.
us to give you citation of scholars,
Okay.
which we do for
Right,
you,
right, right.
and then you don't want to do the same
Let
for
me
us?
let
Fuck
me
that shit.
and let me grab my computer. Let me grab
I
my
mean, you
stuff.
can just
Let me grab my
Google
tablet.
how did Ramses II build his storehouses? It's going to
Let
be
me grab
labor.
my let me grab my tablet. Where's the tablet?
Which, by the way, was 200 years after the Exodus would have taken place. This is like the worst defense for the Exodus I've yet to hear.
That was nothing compared to when the Israelite occupied or were enslaved to the Egyptians. They were building
We have no
crazy stuff
we have no evidence
compared.
of the
I'll
we have
show
no
you. Hold on, I'll show
the
you. I'll
closest
show
thing
you.
you're going to get to the Egyptians owning the Israelites as slaves is when Egypt was ruling over the land of Canaan, and you had Canaanite vassal kingdoms, and right after like that ended, you start to see the emergence of a people group called Israel. But there's no evidence to support that there was ever a group in Egypt called called Israel who were enslaved. Not a single shred of evidence.
So first of all, you agree that the Proto-Sinaitic inscription or language, right, was the Hebrews form of the Proto-Semitic.
No, you
That
don't. You
originated from the
still
Proto. Yeah,
you
you did.
no.
Yeah, you did. I could
It's
go
an
back.
alpha.
Bro,
Proto-Sinaitic is
don't
an
lie.
alphabet. Proto-Sinaitic is an alphabet. Proto-Semitic is a language. Do you know the difference?
Yeah, but in the beginning of our conversation, you said that Proto-Sinaitic was literally for
I
the
said
Hebrews. That's what you
I
said.
said that
That is what you said.
I said that Proto-Semitic is the common ancestor to the languages of the people of Canaan in Israel and amongst the Arab nations.
Yeah, but you also said that Proto-Sinaitic was literally attributed to the Hebrew Israelites. That's what you
No,
said.
nobody said that.
Yes, he
No.
did. I could go
Nope.
back. If this is recording, bro, I'll pull
The
up
Hebrews didn't invent Proto-Sinaitic. That's preposterous.
Yes, they did. He literally confirmed that
I did
the
not confirm. Stop putting words
yes,
in my
you
mouth,
did.
Yahweh.
You
I know you love putting words in your God's mouth, but you're not going to fucking do it to me.
bro, you literally said Proto-Sinaitic was attributed to the
I literally did not. Don't you
Yes,
dare
you did.
fucking lie on me.
You're being disingenuous. You're lying.
You're being a
literally-
liar. Now, stop
This-
lying
you're
about
lit-
what I'm saying, and I want you to give us some evidence. This is what you have to do. You have to start lying about what I said because you don't have any evidence for your position. Now, stop lying about what I said. I was here, Justin was here, Quantanon was here, the entire audience was here. They know you're lying about what I said. Now answer the damn question and get me some data to support that the Israelites were en masse enslaved in Egypt. Go ahead.
I was trying to give you that, but all you did was, refute.
Yes, I
try to
absolutely
refute my
refuted
point
what you
before I
said.
even gave it up. Right before I even made my point, you were already.
No one cares about you. No one cares about your whining and bitching about the conversation. You can either give me some evidence in favor of your position. Stop obfuscating. Give me the evidence.
Stop obfuscating. Like, bro,
Yes.
stop.
Listen.
Stop being
Answer the
disingenuous, bro.
question.
I'm fine. I'm trying to find my tablet charger so I can pull up the sources. Okay, that's what I'm doing.
I'm not going to sit here and
I
wait
wonder
for
if he
you
thinks
to-
we landed on the moon.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yahweh
I'm not gonna
LLC.
sit
Do you
here
think
and-
Yahweh? What shape is the Earth?
supposedly round, right?
No, what shape is it actually?
Every time.
I don't know. I've never been
Every
there.
time.
I've never seen the Earth myself.
What a brain
Ev-
dead answer.
Like without fail, it's so easy.
Right. You
Well,
want me to
I'm not in the least bit surprised because Yahweh's LLC has already pushed forward a conspiracy theory here on my live. So the idea that he believes in other conspiracy theories isn't in the least bit surprising. Now, Yahweh's LLC, I'll ask you again, what evidence do we have that the Israelites specifically were enslaved en masse in Egypt in the 1400s BCE? Go ahead.
The Bible is evidence. The Tanakh is evidence. I mean, the Torah.
The Bible is
evidence.
the Bible is the
Right?
the Bible is the claim. It's not the evidence. What is the evidence for the claim?
Right. I just told you.
Proto-Sinaitic. The Proto-Sinaitic inscriptions found in Egypt predate the Exodus and are the writings of the Hyksos people.
Because the Exodus happened at 400 years after the occupation of Israel in Egypt. Are you slow? Are you slow?
Those belong to the Hyksos. Those belong to the Hyksos people.
Those
They
belong
don't.
to the Hyksos
What is the
people. No, they
evidence that?
don't.
What is the evidence that the Hebrews were in Egypt, not the Hyksos?
See, you're just gonna say no. They're the Hyksos came up with a Proto-Sinaitic. No, bro. Those are the same those are the same writings that the Hebrew Israelite use. Why are you so slow, bro?
I'm not slow, Yahweh's LLC. You've yet to refute the consensus of the scholarship that would tell us that this is the writings of the Hyksos people. Do you have any data to support that it belonged to the Hebrews?
Yes, because the Hebrew linguistics originate from Proto-Sinaitic like writings.
Just
What are you
because
talking about?
just because the Hebrew people would later go on to use Proto-Sinaitic, that doesn't tell us that they're the inventors of the language. The Hebrew people often use the languages of other peoples. They used the Phoenician alphabet, and then they would later go on to use the Babylonian alphabet. So the Jewish people and the Israelites are often borrowing from the alphabets of other people groups. What is the evidence that the writings that predate the Exodus in Proto-Sinaitic belong to the Hebrews and not the Hyksos people?
Right. What evidence do you have that it belongs to the Hexo people?
This is the consensus of the scholarship. We've
What
already
evidence
cited.
though?
We've
What
already
evidence
cited
for
to
it?
you the fact that when we read these inscriptions, what do they tell us about these people?
Right. Enlighten me. Go ahead. Let's get into that. Yeah.
They
What
tell
does
us
it say about the
us
people?
the history of these people. They're not the Israelites. We don't have any reference to Israel as a nation until around about 200 or so years before the time of King David.
The Merneptah Stele.
But the Merneptah Stele is the first reference to Israel as a people who exist in the land of Canaan. There is no reference to the Israelites prior to.
That is way before what you claimed, right? So
No, it's not. It's not.
you're
It's
just
not
being
prior to. It's not prior to the inscriptions that you've listed off to us. No.
No. You said we don't have no evidence that I forgot what you said.
We have no evidence of the Israelites being enslaved in Egypt. Our first reference to Israel in the Merneptah Stele is that they are a people group that exists in the land of Canaan.
Yeah, exactly right. And this was before the Temple of Solomon. You brought up the Temple of Solomon, which I forgot.
I brought
what
up.
you said.
I brought up the Temple of Solomon because you erroneously made the claim that the Exodus was in the 1200s BCE, when according to the book of 1 Kings chapter 6 verse 1, it took place 200 years before you said.
No, what? That's not what you said just now. You said something about.
Okay, stop pretending like you're actually listening to what I'm saying and trying to recount what I'm saying. You're bad at it. You're not listening to what I'm saying, and you're putting words in my mouth. Stop having a debate and conversation with the invented Dalton in your head, and have an actual conversation with me. Now, none of the writings, these Proto-Sinaitic writings, ever identify the people as the Hebrews or the Israelites. We see no reference to this people group until much later in history.
How does it identify that they were from the Hexen? Or Hexos?
Hyksos.
Yeah, the Hexos. How do the writings?
Let's see. Most Proto-Sinaitic inscriptions date to roughly around 1900 to 1600 BCE, which correlates to the time of the Hyksos dynasty. Let's see. The inscriptions are Serabit el Kadim, come from Semitic-speaking mine workers extracting turquoise. Individuals and which, by the way, the Israelites in the Exodus, they weren't doing that. They were making bricks. Individuals in contact with Egyptian overseers, people using simplified phonetic script along hieroglyphs. So it corresponds to the time of the Hyksos, but the text never mentioned anything about builders making bricks of mortar and straw.
Yeah, it does. During the New Kingdom, right, there was a lot of labor for brick making and to that nature. Yeah.
The New Kingdom was after these writings were discovered. The New Kingdom started in 1550 BCE and goes on to around 1069 BCE. The writings of these Proto-Sinaitic language predate to around the 1800s BCE. 300 years before the New Kingdom.
You're being disingenuous. The writing are dated from
these Proto-Sinaitic writings date to the 19 to the 1800s BCE, before the New Kingdom.
From 18 BCE to 1200 BCE. That's the time frame.
No,
you're being disingenuous, bro.
No,
I could literally.
They date to around the 1800s BCE, before the New Kingdom. Do you have anything at all that is going to raise the probability that the Bible is true? Because so far, this is a shit argument that you don't know when the Exodus took place. You don't know anything about the languages of these ancient people. Try harder.
Being disingenuous, bro. You're leaving out information that would support my point.
The only archaeology we have shows that the Hyksos were in the land and that other Canaanites were in the land. We don't have a single piece of evidence ever that demonstrates that there was Hebrews or supposed Israelites in the land of Egypt.
No, he wasn't going to listen to any of that.
I mean, he was a flat earther. What do you expect?
Yeah, I suspect that he was in fact a flat earther. When he says allegedly the earth is round.
Oh, he's never been there to Earth.
Oh yeah, what a dunce. Before we move on to the next guest, I'm going to read two super chats. We got at Hard Work with the $1.99. Support Dr. Kip Davis. Buy his amazing book. What's his book? Which book of his?
Well, he's got more than one, but I assume he means the newest one.
Does he have a book specifically on the book of Jeremiah?
His dissertation should be available to the public.
Well, there you go, everyone. Go and check out Dr. Kip Davis's work. Get yourself a little bit prepared before you go and watch his interview on the Deconstruction Zone. And then at Steve Gear with the $5, Duncan's rocking the Santa hat, rock hard for Doug. Yeah, we love a little bit of what is this kind of hat called? A Frigga? No. I'm forgetting the name. Oh well. Yeah, but we love a good Santa hat around here. What was that?
I think a frigate is a type of boat.
Yeah, no, no. I forgot the name of the Phrygian cap. Thank you, Kurgo, in the comment section. Yeah, I love Christmas time, guys. It's my favorite holiday. All right, Nugget Master. I'm going to ask you the same 4 questions I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Yes, I am.
Question number 2, are you a Bible believer?
No, I am not.
All right, then I'll skip question 3 and move on to question 4. What are your pronouns?
He, them.
He, them. All right, Nugget Master, he, them. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. What brings you up to the show?
Yeah, hi. I used to run the argument that Jesus can't be God because God can't lie and Jesus did lie. And normally I run John 7, 8 through 10. But I recently encountered some problems with it, so...
Yeah, I think if I look at the Restoration of New Testament, take a look at the oldest manuscripts for John chapter 7. I also know what you're talking about, that if you look at some of the older manuscripts, I think, is it John 7?
John 7, 8 through 10.
He's referring to when Jesus said he wasn't going to the festival and then it went in secret.
Yeah, so
Exactly.
John 7, 8, if I'm not wrong, I used to use this argument too, but in some of the older manuscripts, it says, I am not yet going up to the feast. He uses the word not yet in some of the older manuscripts, which, you know, I guess that's technically true. And also, I wouldn't use the argument that Jesus can't be God because God doesn't lie, because God does lie. So that would be right within God's character. I think the better way of demonstrating to your interlocutor that Jesus isn't God is the fact that he says things like, the Father is greater than I. And he refers to Yahweh as the one and only true God in John chapter 17. He says, no one is good. Why do you call me good? No one is good but God. These are, I think, are much better arguments in favor of the idea that Jesus wasn't God, rather than the God doesn't lie, because he does.
Okay, so the verses that say God can't lie and then God did lie also in the Father thing are just then a contradiction?
Yeah. So what we must not forget is that the Bible isn't univocal. That every single author of the Bible have their own outlook on who Yahweh is. There isn't a one consistent divine profile of God throughout the Bible. So some authors make the claim that God does not lie, but then other authors will say, no, God can actually lie to people. He can send spirits to deceive people. Or in Genesis, where he flat out just lies to Adam and Eve about the fact that they won't die the day they eat the fruit. It's no different than, like, can God change or not? Well, it depends on which book of the Bible we're reading.
Yeah, thanks. That really helped.
Absolutely. Yeah. Look into a good reference for this, I guess, would be Dr. Dan McClellan has a book that recently came out called "The Bible Says So." One of the last chapters in that book, it's a really good cover on it, is it's the chapter is about how Jesus isn't presented as being the God of Israel in the Gospels.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna read it. Thanks.
Absolutely. Have a good day, Nugget Master.
You three.
Okay. Before we move
what a
on
good
to
name for a book, by the way.
The Bible Says So. I know it's a
great name.
He totally won out on that. Before we move on to the next guest, I got 2 super chats here. At Devils PD sent 10 The Bible Guy gift memberships. So if you're on YouTube, make sure you go ahead and snatch those memberships before someone else gets them. And then at Drew Smith with the $5 Dalton, you might tell Justin what happened when someone tried to make a Unix daemon joke on your show recently. Oh yeah, someone made a pun with Unix and Unix, and I had no idea what was going on because I'm completely illiterate.
I mean, that's a winning pun.
It's a winning pun. You would have loved it. Sadly, I'm you know me, I'm technologically illiterate. Had no idea what was going on. I thought that was a misspelling. Oh,
really had a good.
Meanwhile, I'm struggling with Linux right now.
Somehow Bible Dog got in the room. Okay. Anyways. Oh wait, Shani.
Yeah, I'm struggling with Linux right now. I'm trying to read data from the big collider, and they've recently updated their operating system, so all of my code is broken now.
That's me trying to mod Skyrim. I have no idea what I'm doing. Anyways, Shani, I'm going to ask you the same 4 questions I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Yes.
Question number 2, are you a Bible believer?
No.
All right, and now skip question 3 and go to question 4. Question number 4, what are your pronouns?
Can I say pink?
Well, pink isn't really a pronoun.
I know.
Color.
Like somebody said their pronouns today was table/chair, so I was being cheap. I'm a she, her.
All right. Shani, he, her. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy, atheist who does not believe in the Bible, but yeah, that's what we like to talk about here on this channel. What brings you up to the show?
The guest prior to the last one, you were going to go into the explanation of how Gentiles, or something about the Gentiles, what was meant for them. I think it was the account of the laws or the commandments or something.
Yeah, in modern day Orthodox Judaism, the belief is that Gentiles do not need to observe all 613 laws of the Torah. The belief among them is that the Gentiles are only obligated to observe 7 what are called Noahide laws, the Sheva Mitzvot B'nai Noach, which would be laws like not murder, to not have other gods, to not blaspheme, no illicit sexual intercourse, not eating an animal when it has the blood and living flesh of an animal. You had to kill the animal first. In other words, you had to have courts of judgment, and I don't remember what the 7th one was. It's been so long since I've actually looked into them. But yeah, and all these 7 laws have like subcategory laws that like go along with them. So really, it's more like 70 like laws, but it's really just 7 overarching categories of law.
Okay. And one more question. I asked, I don't know where I heard this, but I wanted to verify with the rabbi, like, was the Old Testament or Bible itself meant for everyone, or was it mainly just for, the people of the Jewish faith or whatever?
Well, there are no rabbis on it. Are you talking about Justin?
The deconstruction, Justin?
Yeah, is that who you're talking about? He's not a rabbi.
No,
He might as well-
it was the other. It was the other lady on that goes through TikTok. She's on some of these lives, but and she said yes, it's like it was meant for everyone. So, but it just doesn't seem like it was intended originally for everyone.
Well, okay. So, I certain books were not intended for a Gentile. They were written for an Israelite audience. But by the time you get to like the post-exilic period of Jewish history, more and more Gentiles, non-Jews, are becoming interested in the ways of the Israelite people, and as a result, you start getting works amongst the Israelites, like Isaiah 56, for example, where it says, "Thus saith Yahweh, keep justice and do righteousness, for soon my salvation will come, and my deliverance will be revealed. Blessed is the man who does this, and the Son of Man who holds it fast, who keeps the Sabbath, not profaning it, and keeps his hand from doing any evil. Let not the foreigner who has joined himself to Yahweh say, Yahweh will surely separate me from his people, and let not the eunuch say, eunuch, behold, I am a dry tree. For thus saith Yahweh to the eunuch who keeps my Sabbaths, who choose the things that please me and hold fast my covenant, I will give in my house and within my walls a monument and a name better than sons and daughters. I will give them an everlasting name which shall not be cut off. And the foreigner who join themselves to Yahweh to minister to him, to love the name of Yahweh and to be his servants, everyone who keeps the Sabbath and does not profane it and holds fast to my covenant, these I will bring to my holy mountain and make them joyful in my house of prayer, that's the temple. Their burnt offerings and their sacrifices will be accepted on my altar, for my house shall be called the house of prayer for all peoples. So by the time you get to this post-exilic period within Israel's history, and more Gentiles are becoming interested in like joining up with the Israelites, you start getting what by the time of the Second Temple period we're calling God-fearers, Gentiles who are observing Judaism in a limited capacity. They might not be circumcising their young, but they are going to synagogue and hearing the readings of the Torah and like being part of the community. And they would be listening to the words of the Tanakh as they would be read on the Sabbath in the synagogue.
Okay. Thank you for your time.
Absolutely.
To help the algorithm, you can drop me.
All right. Yeah, I know somewhere along the line, the New Testament definitely paints the picture that that prior to Jesus, it's like Jews only and Gentiles have no place in this sort of family. But that's definitely not what it sounds like when you actually read the Hebrew Bible. This is just another way in which the New Testament isn't being quite honest about ancient Judaism / Yahwehism.
It really puts Paul down when he says in Ephesians chapter 2 that Christ died and broke down the dividing wall between the Gentiles and the Jews. But there never was one.
No, not at all. All right, we're gonna bring up the next guest, Volvo. You know, every time I hear the name Volvo, it makes me think of, not the car, but you know what I mean. Anyways, Volvo. Hopefully they'll be able to connect. They seem to have a bit of a trouble connecting, so let's give them a second. Sorry guys, my guy, I'm dirty. I got a gutter for a mind, is what it is. Are you there, Volvo? Your screen is all black. How does this square with...
His profile is loaded in for me, but...
Well, Volvo, it doesn't look like your internet is up to snuff to be able to come up and talk. Try again in just a minute, and hopefully we can get you to come up. But the cake is... What is this? The cake is Ali72. The cake is Ali. I'm going to call you Cake. Cake. I'll ask you
It's a lie.
The cake is a lie. Oh, okay, that makes more sense. The cake is a lie. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Yes.
Question number 2, are you a Bible believer?
No.
All right, and then I'll skip question 3 and go to question 4. What are your pronouns?
He, him.
All right, Cake, he, him. I'm Dalton the Bible Guy. What brings you up?
So I was listening to a guy. I've not ever heard anyone else talk about this sort of concept before. The guy is a biblical scholar, but I don't think he's like a very well-known one. He was talking about this idea that like when the Assyrian invasion happened, right? And they destroyed the Northern Kingdom. And I do believe there is evidence that like Jerusalem started taking in refugees from the Northern Kingdoms, right? The Northern Kingdom was much more powerful. Their cities were larger, and their civil service, if you like, were more used to running a larger administration. And this coincides with the refugees that they were taking in. It coincides with a a flourishing of literature and construction, etc., economic development in Jerusalem, right? But also what he's saying is possibly they came in having to cozy up to the administration in Jerusalem with stories about, oh, you're the house of David. By the way, did you not know that there was once this ancient unified kingdom your city was in charge of, and your ancestor King David was the ruler of this ancient kingdom, and so on and so forth. And this is like he's talking about this being sort of possibly the source for the stories in Kings, etc., etc. I was just wondering what you guys think about that.
Oh yeah, for sure. The idea that there was once a unified kingdom of Israel with 12 united tribes that were all ruled by David and Solomon is 100% a myth. We have no real evidence in favor of this position. The idea that the kingdoms were divided and that the true ruler was, of course, the house of Judah, the tribe of Judah, this is Judahite propaganda. What a lot of people don't take into consideration is that what we do have in the Bible is in fact just Judahite propaganda. It is a revision of Israelite history through the eyes of the clans of Judah.
Seeing y'all. Seeing y'all.
Oh, and we're back. I'm sorry. I did Justin had to head out?
Yeah, he just,
Yeah.
All right.
I am the captain now.
I was.
How much of that did you hear?
I was thinking, basically, I heard all of it. I heard all of it.
Okay, good. Thank God. All right. Or thank Doug, rather. But is there anything else you'd like to talk about? The cake is a lie before I move on, because I do have a Christian who'd like to come up and talk.
No, that's fine. I'll jump off. I was going to ask something about the Hyksos, but I'll ask another time. It's a bit off topic anyway.
Yeah. Thank you for coming up. All right, We're going to talk to the Catholic tutor again, just so I can get a reminder for everyone. You are at least 18 years old, Bible believer. I don't remember how much of the Bible you said you've read, and you go by he, him. Is that correct? Give him a second to load in. Am I frozen again, Quan?
No, you're all good.
Oh,
I'm just not hearing anything from Catholic over there.
Just making sure.
I know it.
Listen, guys, if you want to ensure that I get better internet in the future to have less laggy conversations, make sure to send your super chats and to donate to the Bible Guy, and I'll, as soon as I possibly can, I'll move out and get an apartment somewhere in town where I can get actual good internet. I guess Catholic Tutor couldn't
Here's
load
hoping.
up.
Maybe invite them back in. Maybe they just couldn't load.
Yeah, Catholic Tutor, give it another try, bud, and we'll see if we can get you up here to have this conversation. Oops, where did my... There you go. Let's hit that 100K, people. Absolutely. What are we sitting at right now? 98K? I think we're sitting at 98K. I think that you guys can get us to 2K. I would love to see that. Would be a huge W on the part of the Bible clan over here. Let's see. Although I haven't come up with an actual name for all you wonderful, beautiful people in the comment section yet. Drop some suggestions what you think what I should call you guys. But we got another super chat we'll read real quick. We got at Scribble Scrapple with the 10 Canuck bucks. New home with better internet fund. Thank you for your donation, Scribble Scrabble. Much appreciated. We'll put that towards the new house fund. Not even a house. As long as I get like an apartment somewhere in town, that'll be fantastic. the disciples, Dunkin's Donuts, not Dunkin's Donuts, guys. Come on.
Oh my god.
That's so funny. Do you know why people call me Duncan Quantanite?
I don't. Maybe it's just a name that sounds adjacent.
There was a live a couple of weeks back where I had a guy come on here, and he forgot my name or something. He goes, "Well, like Duncan said," and it just killed me. And so now here we are. It's just part of the lore now, I guess. Duncan's Idaho's at Zach Petronoff with the $2.
I got that reference.
Call us followers of the Duncanites. The Duncanites?
I like that.
Duncanites is not a bad one, actually. I'll put that and put it into consideration. Maybe by the end of this week or the next week, I'll come up. You guys keep giving me your possible names, and I'll let you know which one I pick. Because so far these are all been really good. I love Dylan, the Bible guy. Come on, Beardsley. Come on. Duncan's Toys, very apropos for tis the season for Duncan's Toys. At Drew Smith with the $2. Call us Duncan's Donuts. No, oh, come on. I think I might get into some legal battles if I start trademarking Duncan's Donuts.
Why, did somebody already use that?
I think so. There's a small donut shop that I've never been to. I've never been to Dunkin's Donuts before. I don't know if it's any good or if it's all hype.
It's just like a very fast foodie.
Oh.
Ever been to a Krispy Kreme though?
No. The only
What?
donut shops
Wow.
the only donut shops I go to are like these small town donut shops here around where I live. I've never been to like a big brand donut place before.
Honestly, the family-owned ones are probably better quality, but still, the Krispy Kreme one's always fun because you get to see the waterfall of glaze that all the donuts go through.
Ooh, I kind of like that. Just put me on the rack, coach, and just at ratio X45 with the $4.99. Persecution is when Christians can't hurt LGBT people or force their beliefs on kids. Yep, I mean basically, when you are a group of people that have been in a super privileged position for a very long time, as soon as you lose some of those extra privileges, you will interpret that as being persecution. Christians aren't being persecuted. They're just being given the same exact treatment that everyone else gets. Yeah. At Chip Payet with the $1.99. Dunkin' Donuts is amazing. Maybe one of these days I'll go to a Dunkin' Donut. I'm about to be getting a new vehicle, and maybe once I have a vehicle that can drive places without me having to worry about it breaking down, I'll try going to a Dunkin' Donuts. I know I sound hella broke when I say things like that, but I've never had a car that's been reliable enough to drive from one town to the next. Let's see. I wonder, has Cafe, and I'm looking at you guys right now in the YouTube comment section. Has Mr. Cafe made an appearance yet today? Has he been spreading his craziness on all you guys today? Do you know who Cafe is, Quantinite?
I do not.
Oh, he's just this fella who keeps going on the Atheist Experience, Justin's show, my show, claiming that that scientists have verified that mystical experiences are real and do happen. He himself has not actually read any of the papers he cites. And basically all the papers
Why would you do that?
all the papers he quotes basically just say that people have certain parts of their brain which, when they get accessed by certain psychedelics and drugs, causes them to have visions and stuff. And like, no shit, but that doesn't tell us anything about those visions. At Noah's Lions, 8 dead babies on the ark. Jesus Christ. I love that name. With the $1.99. I'm looking for a roomie if you want to check out PNW. What's PNW? But also, as much as I appreciate the offer, I am basically I am very adamant about not having roommates in the future. Like, I've only ever had roommates in the past. Every time I had my own place, I don't want to do that again. Next place I get is going to be...
I've had some nightmare roommates too.
Well, my roommates weren't necessarily nightmares. Not necessarily. My last place that I lived out on my own, there were 3 of us in a 2-bedroom apartment, meaning that two of us shared a room, and of course I was one of the people who had to share. So that wasn't... it made sleeping arrangements very difficult, especially when some of us had very late night schedules.
Well, since we don't have any guests up right now, I do want to just show off very briefly the data that I'm working with a visualization I've coded up of the particle collider that I'm working on.
Here, let me expand the screen real quick so everyone can see. Whoa! What exactly is it we're looking at here?
So you're looking at simulations for the future electron-ion collider. So the red particle coming in there is the proton, the blue one coming in is the electron, and you're seeing how they ricochet off of each other to study the inner structure of the proton.
That is so cool. What a cool-ass job working with particle colliders.
It's very fun.
Has there ever been...
headache-inducing, but fun.
Has there ever been a situation that occurs where someone is maybe like working on a collider, and then it goes off, and then someone ends up getting hit by one of those particles?
That happened once. And I've worked with a guy who's worked with him. His name is Anatoly Brigorsky. He was doing particle physics in the Soviet Union. He was doing maintenance on a particle accelerator, and he was looking down the beam pipe when a bunch of high-energy protons fired off and went straight through his brain. He's still alive today. He said he saw a light brighter than 1,000 suns, and half of his face became paralyzed.
Oof. Man, what a crazy story to tell your kids one day. And I ever tell you about the time I got hit by a particle going at like hundreds of thousands of miles per hour? That's crazy.
Near the speed of light, yeah. Now, if you were to stand around a particle like collider, that would be almost certainly lethal. The only reason why he survived was because the damage was so localized to a very thin stream that particles took through his head, a very thin path. But in a collider, the radiation's going every which way, and you're not going to be so lucky.
We're going to bring up our next guest at Nick K. Nick K, I'm going to ask you the same 4 questions I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1, are you at least 18 years old?
Yes, I am.
Question number 2, are you a Bible believer?
No, I'm not.
All right, I'll skip question 3 and go to 4. What are your pronouns?
He, her.
All right, Nick A, she, her. I am Dalton, the Bible guy. What brings you up to the show?
I know this isn't the topic, but Quantum's on, and he brought up a very interesting thing that I always wondered about. Feel free to drop me if you're just like, no, we're not doing this. I just wanted to know, what does that mean when you get like pew-pewed with a particle? Is it like getting pew-pewed by a microscopic bullet?
So ultimately what radiation damage does to the body is it strips the electrons off of the atoms, and that destroys the chemistry of what's happening along the path of that damage. This is what causes like mutations, for example. Radiation hits DNA and it destroys that section of DNA.
Okay, so are we talking about like damage, like on an atomic level? Then basically.
Yes.
Oh, that's
you would not see any damage visibly.
Okay, because I've heard that story
not unless
before.
the radiation is really intense.
Oh, Because I've heard that story before, and I was just like, I don't understand what that looks like or what that means.
Yeah, eventually his face did start like swelling up, and then the swelling went back down. But immediately after the incident, you wouldn't have seen like a hole through his face or anything. It's
Okay.
just essentially it kills the cells along that path.
All right. Okay, then. Okay, I got an idea then. All right, thank you very much.
Sure thing.
I'll hop down.
I'm thinking maybe if I bring up a different picture, different prompt, maybe that'll get some opposition in here who would like to debate on the Bible. So I'm going to bring up this.
Lots of friendlies today.
Lots of friendlies, which I love friendlies, but I would definitely love to talk to some opposition if we can get any. If there are any Christians out there who are not terrified of like the truth of their book, the alleged truth of their book, I would love to talk to y'all and find out why I should believe that the Bible is true.
Oh, I do have one brief thing to mention about what I just said, which is that we actually use this fact that radiation can kill cells in cancer treatment. So we use the same technology that we developed for particle colliders for like proton therapy, heavy ion therapy to irradiate tumors while minimizing the damage to the healthy tissue around it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was just looking at something really interesting recently where someone told us something about making little microscopic robots that can go into
Black
your
holes?
bloodstream.
Oh.
No, not black holes. No, little tiny microscopic robots that are able to go into your bloodstream and use a like a magnet to guide them, and then they can be released into your bloodstream in order to fight what do you call them, clots in the bloodstream.
Ah, that's clever. That's very clever.
There we go. All right, Christians. We got ourselves multiple topics up here. The Bible is not inspired. Okay. Jesus was not the Messiah. Jesus did not rise from the dead. Jesus was not God. The Bible is not anti-abortion, and the Bible is not a good source for morals. So if you disagree with any of these points, it's cut off on TikTok.
Only by like the text at the top. Like there's overlapping text. Oh, and it's a
Overlap.
little bit on the right side as well. The Bible is not a good source, though, and then it cuts off.
Oh, here, let me just pick that up real quick, and then how's that? Was that better?
Perfect. Yes.
Perfection. All right. Z Comben. I'm going to ask you the same for questions asked all my guests, irrespective
All
of who
right,
they
hold
are.
on. All right, sorry. I was watching some video. So I'm just gonna go based off the topic, not strictly.
Whoa, one second before you scoot off on the conversation. I have to ask you these preliminary questions. Question number 1: are you at least 18 years old?
Yeah, I'm 21.
You're very muffled. I can't hear you.
Oh, I'm 21. Sorry, I had my hand on the bottom of my phone.
All right. Question number 2: are you a Bible believer?
I'm a Bible believer in both ways of Islam and Christianity. I believe technically both are equal with each other, and they are basically related.
So you believe both that Jesus wasn't crucified and he was crucified?
Yes, I believe that there are two forms that could have happened. All of the Bible is based off of technicalities. There is no form of way to believe in both, but there is no way to prove either book is true or false. But it's all based upon belief.
Well, I'm
the
sure we'll dig
system
into
of
that.
the Bible.
I'm sure we'll dig into that in a second. Now,
Need
question
some
number,
Tylenol, buddy?
The system of the Bible is the
well,
study
question
of the
question
belief of
question
the
number
stories.
3. Question number
Okay.
3: how much of the Bible have you actually read?
I've read plenty of it. I've read I've read it through before, but I would not say that I understand every form of grasp of it. But what I would say is that the Bible is based upon studies of
Okay,
stories of people.
I just needed to know how much of the Bible you read. And then Question number 4. What are your pronouns?
Oh, I'm a guy. I guess he, him.
He, him. All right. Z, he, him. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. Now, I don't believe in the Bible, and I think that all the statements above my head
Okay.
are true statements that the Bible is not inspired, not Jesus, not the Messiah, etc., etc. Which one of these topics above my head would you like to discuss with me?
Let's see. What do you mean by the Bible is not inspired?
It's not written by God. It's not inspired by God. You have a
Okay.
little bit of an
Yeah,
echo.
yeah. Let's definitely go there.
You have a little bit of an echo. Are you wearing headset or something?
I shouldn't have an echo. Is there still an echo?
Check 1, 2, 3. Yep.
There's still an echo.
It
Yeah.
sounds good on my end. Is it on your end?
It's on my end, but I had Ashley Ash in the comment section mention it as well.
Echo.
Check 1, 2, 3.
I'm not hearing it.
All right, it's gone now. All right. Yeah, the Bible is not inspired. You think it is? And if so, why should I believe the Bible is inspired?
Okay, so the Bible is there is physical proof based upon lots of people in the Bible. There are DNA evidences that these stories have occurred in the Bible. I wouldn't say everything in the Bible is
DNA
completely
evidence?
true. Yes, there have been graves found of these people that they have ultimately claimed in previous times, thousands of years ago, to be these mythical characters inside the Bible.
Well, there are some characters in the Bible which existed and some which didn't.
Oh, he's gone.
Oh. That was...
Got raptured.
He got raptured. That was... that's crazy. I was hoping to answer the whole... That Islam and the Bible are both true at the same time.
How would you even match, like, which DNA to match it to? Like, so you find the DNA of this ancient, like, person. How do you know it is...
Yeah, the only way you can know, like, if, for example, when we have an ossuary, we know that the bones. For anyone who doesn't know, an ossuary is like a bone box. People after the dead would decompose, they would take their bones and then put them in this box called an ossuary. The way that we know that the ossuary belongs to certain individuals in the past is because their names are written on the ossuary. We would not, if we tested their DNA, if it was even possible. I mean, you wouldn't be able to know, because it's not like we have their DNA on record. I suppose if you had an ossuary and it had the bones inside the box and you tested that DNA and then found other DNA somewhere else, you could then test it. But I don't know how you'd be able to test for King David.
Wouldn't it be nice if the Bible just had DNA sequences just plainly written in it?
That would be, if the Bible did that, I would believe the Bible is true. Because that would be insane if they had DNA sequences before we even knew about DNA existing. Now,
then the people who say that DNA is like language, then they would be right.
Yeah, exactly. At ratio X45 with the $1.99, that cafe guy, he's busy sucking Lucario's duck. I don't know who Lucario is, but I believe it. I don't need any further evidence for this proposition. He's out there sucking something for sure. At Sonic Shroom with the $2 Australian dollars. Good day, mate. Duncan's Doug Nuts. Doug Nut sounds suggestive. I don't know.
I mean, are you not rock hard for him?
I am rock hard for Doug. So it's not far from the truth. So far, Duncanites is my favorite one so far. Let's see if we'll be able to see if anyone's able to come up with it.
I like that one too.
Yeah. Add atheist named Lilith. Hi Lilith. With the $9.99. PNW Pacific Northwest. Yeah, I obviously I don't get out much, guys. I live in Texas, and Texas is like a black hole in that no matter how far away you try to drive, it doesn't seem like you're able to escape from it. That was for you, Quant. We're gonna bring up
I
Preston.
appreciate it.
Preston's a reoccurring guest, and I believe that Preston, you are a non-believer.
Correct. Yeah, I'm a friendly.
Yes. What brings you up to the live? Because we've had plenty of conversations with you. We know you're over 18, not a Bible believer, and you go by he/him. So what brings you up, Preston?
I have a question for Quantanaut, if that's okay.
Hell yeah.
I'm popular.
Yeah, for sure. So if the standard model goes unchanged for another like 20 years, what do you think that might imply?
Ooh, that's a good question. I mean, we are certainly in a weird point in physics right now where we know that the standard model is incomplete, but we don't really know where it's incomplete. And right now we're doing a lot of both tests to look for new particles and also tests to do precision experiments on the standard model. If all of those come up empty, that's very perplexing. I don't know where we go from there. We'd have to maybe go the cosmology route to try to figure out some new things about the fundamental laws of physics.
That's interesting. That's pretty cool. That's like,
Yeah,
that's a
there are
crazy
some-
field. I don't know much.
Yeah. There are some interesting routes using cosmology to figure out, the nature of dark matter, the nature of why there's not as much antimatter versus matter in the universe, what neutrinos are, what the mass of neutrinos are. So if all like particle physics experiments come up empty, then maybe that's another route for us.
Actually, I wanted to know, Quantanaut, do physicists take seriously the proposition of there being like other universes, or is this something that's still considered? Or is this just sci-fi nonsense?
Well, it's not sci-fi. It's like an interpretation of quantum mechanics, but given that it's not something we are able to test currently, it's not something we really focus heavily on. We usually focus on things that we can make progress with our knowledge at, things that we can actually run experiments on. Otherwise, it's just wild speculation.
Yeah, that's why I thought maybe it was. At Drew, real quick, at Drew Smith with the $2 says, "Dung Canaanites." Dung Canaanites. I don't know. That's a second, but I think Duncanites is probably, it's still at the top of the. I think Dung Canaanites. Too many syllables. Too many syllables is probably the problem there. But a good stab at the naming there, Drew. So, Preston, is there anything else?
Yeah. So on neutrinos, so since oscillation proved that they have mass, how come the standard model wasn't formally replaced because of that fact? I don't really quite get that.
Well, replaced with what? I mean, the standard model still makes a lot of other really good predictions. That's just one prediction that it failed at.
Okay, I thought that like it relied on that because it points more toward like grand unification, or is it something completely different?
Well,
I'm not a physicist.
So
My brother
I mean,
is.
we need like a good replacement for the standard model that both matches the predictions for like QED that it currently makes, but also predicts that neutrinos should have mass. And currently, we don't have a replacement that is testable yet.
Oh, okay. I guess the last question, is the Higgs mass technically unnatural? And does that like seriously affect the hierarchy problem? Or is that a serious problem?
I don't know what you mean by unnatural. The Higgs was predicted to have a mass from its own interacting with its own field.
Oh, okay. I've just heard that it was like technically unnatural, but I don't know quite what unnatural means in this scenario.
Maybe it's that it was a little bit different than what it was predicted to be, but there was some wiggle room, I think.
I think we can say safely that as long as something occurs within nature, it's natural.
I think maybe unnatural with respect to the standard model, you could say. But I think that
Cool.
Higgs
Thanks,
mass
guys.
is like
Hopefully
right on
some
the edge
opposition comes
of being predicted.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming up, Preston. Man, I remember when I first started, when I was like a fundamentalist Christian, I didn't know very much about science. But you know what show it was that really turned me on to like learning and becoming actually like someone who loves science and is actually interested in it. Neil deGrasse Tyson's Cosmos.
Yes, that was a really good documentary. I also
Yeah.
really liked Stephen Hawking's like Into the Universe, I think it was. It was narrated by Benedict Cumberbatch, and it was great.
Oh, Benedict Cumberbatch, that is fantastic. Of course, they didn't want what? They didn't want Hawkins to narrate it.
He narrated the starts of the episodes, but
It'll
yeah.
sound just like my Google Words text to speech. But anyways, Elizabeth B, welcome up to the show, Elizabeth B. I'm gonna ask you the same questions I ask every one of my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1: are you at least 18 years old?
Yes.
Question number 2: are you a Bible believer?
No, I'm a friendly.
All right. Then question number 4: what are your pronouns?
She, they.
She, they. All right. I'm Dalton, the Bible guy. Elizabeth, what brings you up?
So I actually have a question for Quant Not too. I know it's kind of popular at the moment.
So popular.
You are very popular, Quant.
So I'm kind of taking it a different route. I have been deconstructing for the last couple of years, and my hardest part is trying to figure out how to put into words the understanding of the science, because frankly, I flunked out of science class really, really bad. And I need simple terms. And you guys come on here and you're talking, and I get lost. So my question is can you dumb down the explanations that you're giving enough that someone who doesn't understand the science can understand the beginnings and the formations enough that I can understand it?
I have to sort of tune my responses to each person. Sometimes I ask a question like, "Oh, do you know what a neutrino is, or do you know the X or Y?" And then I'm able to tune my response accordingly. But it's hard to go like from first principles every time, depending on what they're asking about. I try.
I know that every time I ask ChatGPT these questions about science, I'll often say to it, "Talk to me like I'm a middle schooler," because that's how.
Oh, ChatGPT gets science so wrong.
I know, which is why I always fact check it. But remember, everyone, if you're asking ChatGPT questions, don't take it at face value. Ask it for its sources.
Just remember, it was trained on Reddit comments.
Yeah. Guy, Googling and ChatGPTing is a skill. And people don't know how to use that skill, and it leads them to all kinds of horrible conclusions. Remember, as Dan McClellan often says at the end of his videos, Google competently, and I'm going to say GPT competently as well.
That's fair. So I guess my curiosity is, how would you explain the beginnings of the universe to someone who doesn't understand the beginnings of the universe?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Are you ready?
Yes, I think so.
That is the standard scientific.
That's the long and short of it.
Yeah.
So okay, I'll tell you what we do know. How about that? We do know that given the fact that light takes time to travel through space, the further away we look in space, the further back in time we're seeing, right? Just because there's more lag, essentially. And when we look out at the universe and we look back further and further, we see that the universe gets hotter and denser. And you can trace this back until the universe is incredibly hot and dense and packed into an extremely small volume. before that point, we don't know what the nature of the universe was. Maybe there was another universe before that. Maybe it was just always hot and dense until it started expanding. Maybe time itself essentially started at that point. We don't know.
But that's an answer I actually understood. Thank you.
Of course.
You can kick me for the algorithm. I
Okay.
appreciate it.
Have a good day, Elizabeth.
Thanks.
If you're watching on YouTube right now and you'd like to call in, I just put a link in the comment section of the YouTube. I see that there's someone called @GodSon who keeps saying all kinds of crazy shit to people in the YouTube comment section. If you're believe in the Bible, Godson, come on up and have a conversation with me. I promise I don't bite unless you ask me to. Lone Dro with the $2 says Duncaneers. That's a good one too. It's between Duncanites now and Duncaneers. Those are both very good.
I like Duncaneer, but Duncanite sounds more Bible-y.
It does sound more Bible-y. It does. So Duncanite's definitely at the forerunner, and then Duncaneers is a close second. At Marduk, nothing going on there, but the $4. Thank you for the $4.99. Much appreciated, Marduk. Speaking of Marduk, guys, I'm currently working on. I've already put this out there a couple times, but I'm still working on it, and it's going to come out sometime next year. I'm going to be doing a 7-part series where I will be doing like an audiobook of the Enuma Elish, along with a commentary after each like tablet. So the Enuma Elish is the ancient creation epic of the Babylonians and the Akkadians, and it's divided into 7 different tablets. So I'm going to read each tablet and then give commentary on the tablet, and it'll be a 7-part episode, so you guys can actually know, like myself, what does the Enuma Elish actually say, and in what way does it reflect and inspire what we see in the book of Genesis. Duncaneer sounds piratey. It does, doesn't it? Oh.
Like privateer, yeah.
I've got a bone spicule in my mouth. And I'm currently using oral pain relief to make sure I can actually talk. I don't know if I've ever heard of that. What, you've never heard of the Enuma Elish? Yeah, it's much older than the book of Genesis. And we're going to be reading it here on it's not going to be live. I'm not going to be reading it live. These will be pre-made audiobooks that I'll be making. And then after the 7-part series is over, I'll be compiling all the actual, just the parts from the audiobooks part of the series, and then making one long audiobook of the Enuma Elish. And then at House 70 with the $6.66, Hail Nero. Caller still don't give the evidence. He was looking for his tablet. Maybe Moses took it. Referring to Yahweh, Yahweh's LLC. Yeah, the guy. I've been getting a lot of guests lately who spend more time like looking for AI answers for their shit apologetics as opposed to actually knowing what the fuck they're talking about.
Doesn't Ian sometimes debate or quote unquote debate against an AI like pastor or something?
Yeah, I've seen him do it, and I've seen other people do it too. Like do fake debates with like an AI who's taking a position. I've done that before in my free time. Like I'll ask the AI to take the position of like a Christian apologist, and then I'll debate it in order to like hone my skills.
No, but it was like a very specific application. Like it had a image of a priest or.
This is the that's Justin from the Catholic AI. That I was still practicing Catholicism when they put that thing up there, and it was real shit when I tried using it. I imagine it hasn't gotten much better.
Also, I do have a personal request. I got a a question from one of my own friends who wanted to ask you if you could explain how the Bible is not anti-abortion.
Yeah. Okay. So when it comes to the Bible people often, if you talk to a Christian, let's pretend like Quentin, how often have you had a conversation with Christians about the abortion in the Bible?
Not much.
Well, often what happens,
I try to avoid that.
if you ask them, where does the Bible speak against abortion, the usual answer that comes up is, well, the Ten Commandments says thou shalt not commit murder. Well, that presupposes that the ancient Israelites would have considered it murder for a fetus to be terminated in the womb, which we have no data to support. In fact, the data of the Pentateuch suggests the exact opposite. So let's see if you can test your knowledge on this, Quentin. I think this might be fairly intuitive. What is the what is the penalty, the capital punishment for committing murder in the Bible?
Probably being stoned.
Yeah, it's being put to death. Life for life. If you commit murder, you're going to be killed by the state. Well, according to Exodus 21, when two men are fighting and a pregnant woman intervenes, and it results in her having a miscarriage, no one's put to death for that. They only have to pay a fine, which would tell us that is a simple like 1-2 premises conclusion. Premise number one: according to the Torah, the punishment for murder is capital punishment. Premise number two: according to the Torah, the punishment for the termination of a fetus is the paying of a fine. Conclusion: according to the Torah, the termination of a fetus is not murder, but just a property crime.
Makes sense to me.
Now, I'm going to bring up our next guest, Skog. Skog, I'm going to ask you the same.
This is my
question.
friend.
Oh, hello, Skog. Hello, Skog.
Yeah, how's it going? I was the one who actually asked that question, or asked Quanta not to relay that message. You can go through your intro though. Like I don't want to. Like I think
Sure.
you like to
At
ask
least
those
18?
questions. Yep, 26.
Bible believer?
No.
And pronouns?
He, him.
All right, Skog, he, him. Was that a satisfying answer for you, or would you like me to go more in depth?
So I guess maybe if you can repeat it one more time. I was kind of like going back and forth between Discord messaging Quanta and everything. So is that possible? I apologize.
Absolutely. So, according to the Torah, the punishment for murder is capital punishment. If you kill someone, another person, you get killed by the state in turn. Now, when we read Exodus 21, however, we are presented with the situation where there are two men fighting and a pregnant woman tries to intervene, and the altercation results in her miscarrying the baby. So like through the actions of one of the men, there is a termination of the fetus. The person who's responsible for the termination of the fetus in this case doesn't get killed by the state. They don't get capital punishment. Instead, all they have to do is pay a fine. So this would tell a simple syllogism. Premise one, according to the Torah, the punishment for murder is capital punishment. Premise number two, the punishment for the termination of a fetus is simply the paying of a fine. Conclusion, according to the Torah, the termination of a fetus is not considered murder, but just simply a property crime. And the reason for this is because we think of life as beginning at conception, but the ancient Israelites didn't see it that way. They saw life, or that people became living souls at first breath, because of Genesis 2:7, the Lord God breathed into the nostrils of Adam, and then Adam became a living soul.
Wow, I actually had no idea there was so much nuance regarding that. I guess a follow-up question would be, so I apologize, I might ask very simple questions because Christianity is kind of foreign to me. I'm ex-Muslim.
Yeah, that's fine.
And I left Islam probably for not the best reason. I just left it because it didn't make sense. But as I grew older, I was like, maybe I should have left for that, and that, right? But in this case, for this, I've heard a lot of Christians, like they say they don't hold to the Old Testament or the older Judaic-related stuff. Would that have any contention with the examples that you gave?
Well, at best, it means that they wouldn't care about the argument, but the New Testament also doesn't say anything about like abortion or the termination of a fetus, or the termination of a pregnancy before birth. Doesn't say a darn thing about that. So the only way they can make an argument against abortion is not from the Bible, but from some other sort of philosophical or ethical reason. But they're not going to be able to do so from the Bible if they're going to just disregard the Old Testament.
Oh, interesting. Wow. I never thought. So I also occasionally do debate about. So I'm pro-choice, of course, but sometimes people bring up their religion, like their debates on religion. I end up telling them like I don't really know your religion enough to show the contentions or the issue. So this is perfect. Thank you so much for that information.
Yeah, and there was a debate among early Christians as to when a person became like a person, a living soul. And because there was a debate among the Greeks, and amongst the Greeks there were three positions, and which is why among the early church fathers you're going to see these three positions being elucidated. One was the view that life began at conception. This was, I believe, the view of the Pythagoreans, for example. The other group, which was the Stoics, they held to the view that life began at the quickening, and the quickening is when the fetus begins to start moving in the womb. And then the third view, which was the view that the Athenians held to, and also that the Israelites held to, was that life began at first breath, when the ruach, or the pneuma spirit, entered into the body. That's when a person becomes a living person. So that's why you're going to see like disagreement among the early church fathers as to when is a fetus considered a person, a moral agent.
No, that's extremely cool to me. I never knew that there was so much within itself, within the house itself, there was so much discourse, if you will, and disagreement. So I think that's cool. I can kind of throw a curveball at these individuals, typically these pro-lifers, if you will, who bring up their religion. So thank you for that.
Yeah, if you want to see a more
sorry.
if you want to see a more detailed take on this, basically everything I've said but more detail. Dan McClellan on TikTok has a video dedicated to this very topic.
Oh, cool. Awesome. And a lot of times, just on a topic that I think Quantonaut threw in earlier, and it was actually funny that you said that comment about like if only the Bible had like genetic sequences within its like borders or something that could help quickly, give us answers that yes, this is concrete, this makes sense. It's interesting to me that like you brought these statements up and everything. It's like it just kind of goes to the fact that I think a lot of Christians, I don't want to say all, but a lot of them don't really read their Bible and don't really know that they're what they subscribe to isn't actually in within the borders, within the text.
Yeah, so you're gonna most Christians who come on TikTok and talk about Christianity generally are not very familiar with the Bible, and everyone on my audience is quite familiar with the fact that Christians don't really know the Bible that well. People who know the Bible well are the ones who end up becoming atheists.
Oh yeah, I guess that does make sense. I mean, like I said it before, I wish that's what I was saying earlier. Like the more I read the Quran, or as I got older, I got more familiar with Islamic rhetoric. That's what kind of made me go away from Islam. But originally I left Islam because of like this stuff didn't make sense to me. It was like trying to believe that they're trying to believe something I didn't believe in, right? Like that the sun will rise up from the other side of the earth tomorrow. Like I can't truly believe that, and that's what first turned me away. But later on, I was like, okay, there's some stuff in here in the Quran that doesn't really add up, like biologically, for example. I think you probably heard all those factoids and everything. But I do want to say, do you go by Duncan? Is that right?
No, that's just a inside joke on the channel. My actual name is Dalton.
Dalton, okay. Well, Dalton, thank you so much for having me on panel. Quantum, good to see you, and I hope you guys have a good night.
Yeah, it was good meeting you, Skog.
Take care.
Before we move on to the next guest, I'm going to read some super chats I got here real quick. I'm at Drew Smith TPA with the $2 saying the Tribe of Duncan. That's a good one, but Tribe of Duncan, I think another way of saying it is just Duncanites. That's literally what the Duncanites means. It means the Tribe of Duncan. Duncanites is one word. The Tribe of Duncan, too many words, I think there. But I appreciate the attempt. Then I don't think you're going to be able to. I don't think anyone's going to be able to surpass Dunkanites, guys. But you can try. I'd love to see you try, but Dunkanites is pretty freaking good. It's growing on me the more I say it. And then at Marduk with the $4.99, I have two 24-inch computer monitors I could send you if you still need, but I don't have the stands. No, I'm good. Actually, I have two 29-inch screens now, and they're more than sufficient to do what I do. I don't think I have any more room on this new desk for like more screens. But hey, I appreciate Marduk, the hospitality. Love that. Now we're gonna bring up Pastor Ized. Thank you for the woolly hat, Pastor Ized. I'm gonna ask you the same 4 questions that I ask all my guests, irrespective of who they are. Question number 1: are you at least 18 years old?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Question number 2: are you a Bible believer?
Yes, 100%, sir. Yes.
Question number 3: how much of the Bible have you actually read?
I have read the entire Bible.
All right. And question number 4: what are your pronouns?
You can call me he, him, sir.
All right, Pastor he, him. I'm Dalton the Bible guy. I am an atheist who doesn't believe in the Bible. Which one of the 6 points above my head would you like to discuss?
I would actually like to give you the transcendental argument for God. Would you like to hear it?
Is that one of the 6 points above my head?
No, sir. I can discuss these if you would like.
Yes, pick one of the 6 above my head that you would like to discuss.
Yes, the Bible being inspired by God, it's the only source for inspiration for these words.
Why?
Because God is the necessary preconditions for rationality, intelligibility, morality, and for any sort of logic. Absolutely.
Could you give me
for God.
Could you give me an argument for why I should believe the Bible is inspired?
Yes, because God is the necessary preconditions for reality, for logic, for intelligibility, and for morality.
Is this tiny?
No, sir, absolutely not.
I've been one of the
sounds completely legit to me. I don't know what you're talking about.
Here, I'll humor this for a moment. Pastor, hey him. Let's try this again. How does why should I believe that God is the necessary precondition for knowledge?
Yes, certainly. It's an argument for the negation of the contrary. No other worldview can suffice other than the theistic triune nature of the God of the Bible.
Why triune? Why is that necessary?
The very essence and nature and being of this triune God is something that cannot be denied. If you do deny it, you are denying logic itself, you are denying morality itself, and you are denying rationality itself. Would you like to do that, sir? I don't think so.
But Pastor, why couldn't you believe the same exact thing, but it's only a God who's like a one God as opposed to a Trinity?
Well, the very nature of God is one, but the triune nature is what makes it special. It is a special revelation given to us from this God that this person, Jesus Christ, fulfilled all of the prophecies in the Torah, and he was the Messiah. He was the messianic figure that fulfilled all of these prophecies and died for our sins. This triune nature is necessary for all moral claims, moral ought claims, that is, and for all logic itself.
But why does it have to be a Trinitarian God?
That's just simply the nature of this being.
Being Yahweh.
Yes, sir.
But Yahweh's not a Trinity. Not in the Bible, at least.
The triune nature is something that is established throughout the Bible. It is the Spirit of God, Jesus Christ himself, and the Father. This is all one essence, one nature. It is one thing.
Where does the Bible ever speak about three beings having one essence? Where does it use that language?
Yes, it mentions the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit in the book of John.
Fun fact, in the Goblet of Fire, it mentions Harry, Ron, and Hermione. But these three wizards are not one. So why should I think that the Father, the Son, and
Of
the Holy
course, they're
Spirit...
human beings. This isn't the triune nature of a deity.
But they all have the essence of wizard.
And also,
So
Jesus was a human.
that is not transitively, this is not reflexive. This is something that has to do with relativistic identity in Aristotle. Are you familiar with this?
Relativistic, I didn't know.
Yes, it is something that completely explains the identity of each of these properties of this one God.
Well, you can have an explanation, but that doesn't mean the explanation is accurate to the being spoken of. I mean, nowhere in the Bible do we ever receiving the information that Jesus is the God of Israel.
Well, so this is where the transcendental argument comes in. This is where, just supplemented to that, no other worldview is capable of providing logic, morality, or rationality.
All you need for all those things is for one, the universe to exist, and two, to have a brain, and that's it. Those are the necessary preconditions.
That is
for
a
reason.
category error. You have to have a universal. You have to have a universal grounding with the triune nature of this God.
Why?
Through the negation of the contrary, no other worldview can ground this. Do you think that a finite universe and a finite mind can ground something infinite? It's impossible.
Why do you need a grounding?
Because without it, there would be no logic. Things would not make sense. Things would just fall apart like a cookie.
Wait.
Christmas
How have
Eve.
we established that the universe is finite?
Yes, because of our observations, we can tell that an expanding universe must have a beginning and a creator.
Your turn,
Well,
Quant.
an expanding universe might not have a beginning, and regardless of that, it can still be infinite in size.
Well, the universe itself is contingent in nature. It needs to have some sort of transcendental grounding for all of these things within.
No, I think we still have not established that the universe is finite now.
Yes, we have. Everything in the universe is absolutely contingent.
That doesn't mean finite.
Requires a
even if I do
necessary
grant that.
being.
That doesn't mean finite.
Of course it does. Do you think that the universe can
Like
create
if the
itself?
universe is infinitely large, then the universe is infinite in its largeness.
I'm sorry. Trying to be serious there?
Yeah.
What's your argument that this is the case? What empirical evidence shows that the universe is not contingent?
I'm not saying anything about contingency. I'm saying that the size of the universe is possibly infinite.
And what data supports this vacuous claim?
The curvature of the universe is consistent with zero, and that is consistent with an infinitely large universe.
That is complete conjecture and garbage, sir. Do you have any empirical evidence that supports this claim?
As I just said, we've observed that the global curvature of the universe is consistent with zero.
Where's the data that supports this vacuous drivel?
The vacuous drivel. Sure, I can search up the source for you.
Yeehaw! Thank you for the cowboy hat.
It's funny how these atheists
I believe the
think they
DESI
have a
data might
grounding for
be
reality. It's absurd.
Oh no, it's the cosmic microwave background. Yeah. The cosmic microwave background is consistent with a spatially flat universe.
You think this cosmic microwave background mumbo jumbo came from thin air, from nothing? It's absurd.
Well, it came from the Big Bang.
By the way,
That's just
for anyone,
begging the question.
for anyone who doesn't already, for anyone who doesn't know, how many people here? I want to get some ones in the comment section. If you've heard of, Hello from the Magic Tavern, the podcast. Guest sounds just like Usador the Wizard, and it's killing me inside. Mitchell, you're a real one, sir. Oh my God, we got so. I'm surprised how many ones we got. It's fantastic. Now, Pastor Wizard, as much as I have been enjoying this conversation, we are reaching the end of the live, and I do have one more guest I have to take before we end the show. But maybe you can come back another day, and continue this conversation.
That's the liberal agenda sneaking its way into the conversation.
you got me. Hashtag
Gentlemen, I appreciate the failure at your argument and trying to disprove God's natural existence. Maybe one day you can defeat Tag, but until then, I appreciate it. And I've always thought I sounded like a young David Attenborough, honestly. But yes, I hope you have a wonderful evening, gentlemen. Thank you for having me. Yes, Tag is undefeated. Precept Kings for the win.
And a good day to you too, sir.
Governor.
That makes me also think of
Yes,
Smosh.
sir. Very good, sir.
That makes me think of Smosh with the gentleman's Smosh. You know what I'm talking about? If I'm making a bunch of references. Hopefully,
been a while.
everyone. Yeah, they do a gentleman's where they act like a bunch of like 18 from the 1800s British. Hey, I went down to the Amazon, and yeah, I love that stuff. Okay.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. Yeah.
We're going to take one last guess before we end the show, and then I'll read super chats. So, Crazy Cat Lady, love the name. I'm going to ask you the same 4 questions. I think we've, correct me if I'm wrong, have I already spoken with you before?
The name looks familiar to me.
Crazy Cat Lady?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't click on it. I apologize.
Oh, okay. I guess it was, okay. It happens all the time. It's an accident, but hey, thank you for
Yeah.
coming up.
Oh yeah, no problem. Sorry.
You're good. I guess we'll just go ahead and read the super chats then. Since I've got 2 minutes before the end of the show, I'll just go ahead and read those. So, let's see. W Crazy Cat Lady.
What a way to end it, though.
Yeah, for real. All right. At Drew Smith TPA, with the $2. I promise this is my last suggestion. Dunkarium. That's not Dunkarim? Dunkarim. Which does sound like the Hebrew plural. For anyone who doesn't know, in Hebrew, if it's a masculine noun, if you want to make it plural, you add the suffix yud mim at the end of it. So, for example, if you have the word for Pharisee, Tiny Science, did I miss anything? No, Tiny Science, we had a riveting conversation with a Tag. It was presuppositionalist. It was fantastic. But anyways, what was I saying? Oh yeah, if you have a word like Pharisee in Hebrew, which is parush, and when I get plural, it's parushim. Tag gross, yeah. So donkalim sounds. You know what? If you're in Israel, you can call yourself a member of the donkalim.
Tag gross, he says.
Yeah. Oh, hey, we actually got one last guest, I guess. Servant. I guess I'll take on one last guest. Servant Nick. I think I've spoken with Servant Nick before. Nick, just so I can get a reminder, are you at least 18 years old?
Yes, sir.
Are you a Bible believer?
Yes, sir. I was actually wondering if I could say a prayer for the live.
No. Do you have an argument against any of the 6 positions over here?
Just wanted to say a prayer for the live.
Do you understand? Okay, as a Christian man, I'm a guessing Christian man. Do you understand what consent is? Do you understand what consent is?
Do you understand that I asked you, and then also I want to talk to our God for a moment?
So you asked me, and I said no. If a woman came up to you, if you came up to a woman and says, "May I take you out on a date?" and she says no, do you act like this?
I wanted to pray for the live.
I don't
That's all.
care. I don't care. Like, do you understand that no means no?
You're being very insensitive. I'm not doing it, am I?
I've already laid down my boundary, and you're disrespecting that.
And I didn't do it. I'm just saying that's what I wanted to do.
You're being
and
very
that-
persistent.
You're
I'm
being
actually
overly persistent. Like, if I was a woman and
It
you
was
were
a
asking me out, I would be
It's
like
a sacred gesture.
I would be getting my pepper spray ready at this point. So do you have
You're not a woman, and I'm not.
Do you have any arguments against any of the 6 positions above my head, or did you only come here to say a magic spell over us?
Well, when I said that I wanted to pray over the live, I think that you could understand that I disagree with all 6 of your points.
So do you want to debate any of those points, or did you just want to like mumble to your imaginary friend?
Listen, you have to become like a child and believe with faith that Christ is real, bud.
Yeah, and also it says when I was a child, I acted like a child, but then I put away childish things. So funny how the Bible isn't consistent on that point. So do you have any arguments against any of the 6 points above my head?
Pretending like there's no God is pretty childish, bud.
I'm not pretending. I don't have any evidence in favor of a God existing.
You don't believe that God exists. That's childish.
No, it's not. I don't have imaginary
Yes,
friends
it is.
anymore. When I was a
If
kid,
you want to call the gospel out.
when I was a kid, I had imaginary friends. When you talk to invisible people that don't talk back to you, that's having an imaginary friend, and that's being childish. I don't do that anymore. The only one who's being childish here is the person who believes in Santa Claus for adults. So, do you have any actual points?
Yeah, whoever blasphemes against the Holy Spirit will never be forgiven. Merry Christmas.
Well, then fuck the Holy Spirit. Now what?
Ain't no hate like Christian love, right?
Ain't no hate like Christian love. Also, even though I jokingly say like fuck the Holy Spirit, that's actually not the blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. The blasphemy of the Holy Spirit is when someone sees a miracle being performed by God and then attributes it to Satan. Since I don't believe in Satan, I can't commit the blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. It's literally impossible. Or miracles. Yeah, it's literally impossible. The only ones who can do that would be Muslims and Jews.
I guess atheists are safe.
Yeah. All right. Well, since that last individual grossly didn't understand consent and wanted to push the boundaries, ladies, stay far away from Servant of Nick. At Declan James with the $2, I missed the spelling. Duncanites or Duncanites? It's the first, not the latter. And then at Taco Joe with the $4.99. The only and obvious name for the channel followers is the Daltonistas. Well, as much as Daltonistas as I like that, because it is my true moniker. So far at the end of this whole live, I think the one that wins out so far is the Duncanites. But you know, guys, I'll be going live again on Thursday. So if you can think of something better, make sure to give us the suggestion in the super chats on Thursday. Until then, everyone, make sure you're following Quantanaut on YouTube and TikTok. Do you have a YouTube?
I technically do, but I haven't uploaded there in a while. I should really start streaming there as well, in addition to TikTok.
Absolutely. So make sure at least you're following Quantanaut on TikTok. He's been going live lately, and you want more cool science topics, there you go. I've been the Bible guy. Say what?
I just said yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I've been the Bible guy. Make sure to keep reading and keep learning. And happy holidays, and we will see you guys again on Thursday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Bye. And now that the TikTok stream is over, I'm going to thank all of you wonderful, wonderful people on the YouTube for all your wonderful, wonderful super chats. Doing this full time now, I couldn't do what I do now without your help. So I'm super duper appreciative of the help that you guys are giving me. Hopefully by this time next year, I'll be like making enough money that I can actually like fully support myself while doing this. But anyways, as I said, we'll be live again on Thursday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time.